I'm probably gonna stop working around the time.
Ah, right, okay. No, I just worry about it.
Okay. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 457, Exploring Superman's Working Class Roots. What a great title for a 30-minute video about who the hell knows what, because none of us have actually watched it. And I did some brief research on what could possibly he be talking about. Maybe one of the writers of the original Superman run had some socialist leanings. We don't know yet. We're going to find out. So let's see when this thing was made. Came out this year in January, of course. The 6th has about 1,112 views, so it's a small channel. We have about 5,000 subs, and he's called Forced Adversity. Does anyone know anything about this guy? Has anyone watched any of his videos before?
I have heard that he really hates Comicsgate, and he hates everyone who's conservative or has right-wing politics.
Yes.
You mean everyone who's not...
And I know that he tries to shit on Ethan Van Sciver. He's a big Comicsgate author.
Well,
and he blocked him, and he keeps saying "Oh, these people don't dare to debate me." Of course, they can't. If you block them, they can't.
So here's a brief. I'm not going to read it all. It's a big section of his about page. He is a he/him, BLM hashtag trans rights disabled rights hashtags fandom for all. Always from a humanist progressive perspective. Chill, neurodivergent writer and musician, and lifelong fan of comics, horror, and sci-fi who enjoys giving context to narratives and characters informed by my experiences. Okay. So
that text makes me want to punch him.
Smud, next time just say faggot. You'll save everyone a whole lot.
Yeah. You know, if I'm going to insult someone, I'm going to do it with their own words, and I don't have to say anything outside of quoting them. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Progressive humanist is an oxymoron. Progressive means socialist. Socialism is contrary to human rights. That's a fact.
Wow.
Read the Human Rights Charter. Read the fucking Human Rights Charter and think, does this fit with socialism? What socialism does or what socialism wants? For every article,
all right.
You will not find a lot of congruence.
Okay, all right.
Anyway. And this guy says trans rights, so I get to say what the fuck I want.
Okay. All right.
Wait, just calm down. All I
he said Black Lives Matter, so what I just said is also valid.
Yeah.
All right.
All I got to say is, Dan Bears, I ate 20 since Whisp got into socialism within 5 minutes of the stream.
That wasn't me. He started it.
Anyway.
Hawk, look at the thumbnail of his video. Wisp didn't do that.
Anyway, it's a 31-minute video. We're going to be here for a while. Happy Sunday, everyone, by the way. We're going to
happy.
We're going to be leisurely going through this. We might not even finish, so don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I don't think we want to continue. After we find a really bad point, we'll just be like, oh boy, this is what this is about. So anyway, we don't care how big he is. We don't care how small he is. We just want to see the arguments and the evidence he provides, and that's what we're going to focus on. So hopefully we won't be derailed too much. Hopefully. So.
And in the spirit of clarity, I'm going to be focused on playing The Witcher 3. So.
Oh, that's fine. It's totally fine.
In the strict of, I'm going to be playing Red Dead Redemption, so, hey ho.
This is standard. This is normal behavior.
Play with my Rubik's Cube.
God, come on, guys.
All right. Let's get going.
Mom!
Is everyone in? I'm sure everyone's in. I just want to make sure everyone's available to watch at the same time when I hit the play button. Is everyone in the watch together?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Please
Mark's here. Gingerman's here.
All right. Okay, we're going.
You don't know how to use the name.
Let us go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
In this second video exploring the history of comics...
Okay, we can stop right now.
I understand why he needed to put his pronouns in there, because with all this soy dripping off of him, I would have never been able to tell that he's a man.
All right, okay.
I want to give him a swirly.
Okay. His appearance is obvious. Let's keep going. It's not worth it, okay?
Wash?
Their creators and their impacts on
the
culture. We move ahead in the timeline from proto-superhero comic strip Flash Gordon and his creator Alex Raymond to the very first official superhero, While technically the Phantom is generally granted the title of the first superhero.
I was off by 1 year.
And Doc Savage was the first to have abilities beyond that of normal human. The last son of Krypton, the Man of Steel, the Big Blue Boy Scout, Superman was the most recognizable and therefore the most marketable.
What about Hercules?
He was the distillation of what a superhero could be, with his signature costume, red cape, and incredible
Hercules
set
had
of
comics.
powers. Superman is the purest embodiment.
Is he wearing a X-Men robe or a bomber jacket? What is that?
That is
It's
an
just a jacket,
X-Men. That's
it's
an
just-
X-Men.
it's just
X-Men first class jacket over a Superboy. No, that's
Well, the shirt,
that's
the burp is
Snyder's- that's
the
Snyder
shirt is Connor
Superman
Kent,
symbol.
Superboy. Yeah,
But it's the Snyder versus Superman symbol.
Really?
yeah, they fucked that up.
Okay. What? Fine. He loves comics. We get it. It's cool. I was just curious what flavor of X-Men that was.
It depends how he loves them.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's not
he's
get
a
into that.
consumer.
All right, here is Roan Harushin. Hey, Roan, how's it going? Thanks for the 5. I, too, am here and regret everything. Well,
Don't we all?
Yeah.
well anyway, we're fine. We're good.
Of the male power fantasy, the progenitor of every costumed adventurer and vigilante to come after him. He's the Beatles of superhero comics, the archetype on which so many, just countless characters.
Superman
would
is
be-
more famous than the Beatles, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about?
That's a strange take of putting a pop music band.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like
Because
Superman
we
was
move
also
in time.
killed, just like John Lennon. So
And the moment we move in
He's not
time,
wrong.
there will be more people who don't know who the Beatles were and know not a single song of them.
That's a very strange take. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know who they are through parodies.
Superman is older than the Beatles, and he's lasted longer than the Beatles.
yeah, hold on. I
Like,
can
what the fuck?
right to cut him some very small amount of slack before
No.
Baird goes no.
No.
I literally guessed it. I think what he's trying to say that Superman has inspired people like the Beatles have inspired people, but the Beatles they've inspired a few people, but like everyone says, most people nowadays don't know who the Beatles are, especially in the younger generation.
Right.
I mean, people see pictures of the Beatles and think that they stole Justin Bieber's haircut.
Would
I mean,
Elvis be a more apt comparison?
No, because Superman is older than Elvis and lasted longer than Elvis.
No. It's not about who came first. It's just about in their genre.
In terms of recognition.
I think.
yeah.
I
The
think
longevity is bigger.
I think the comparison to Mythos,
Fair
which
point.
is what we talk about, comics and superhero comics. Wisp made a good comment about what about Hercules. I would just make the reference to Hercules in the modern day. Seems fair enough.
Hercule.
True.
I kind of get what he's getting at though. He's
What he's getting at is retarded.
Okay. Right.
yeah, but he's talking to a retarded audience. We have to accept this.
Oh,
The people who watch this are retarded,
okay.
ourselves
Yeah,
included.
but they're not being helped out of their retardation. He's just making it
Wisp.
worse.
Wish we don't help retarded people. You kick them to the curb. You keep them down. We don't want them interacting with the rest of society.
You treat the retardeds like you treat the homeless.
Anyway.
You set them on fire.
Anyway.
I think the stupidity is just keeping people down who could come out of that shit.
Okay. Anyway, this
This is like Car the Snake. He's
It's-
just keeping people idiotic.
Anyway,
With his
anyway.
hypnosis.
It's a strange
You're right,
comparison. Let's continue.
built. Superman is the Big Bang of superhero comics.
What?
And like the Big Bang set
What?
the universe into perpetual
No, I
motion,
don't want the Big Bang
Superman's
Theory.
mission
He just wait a
continued
minute. Hold
expanding,
on.
Bringing life
He just said that fucking Doc Savage, Flash Gordon, and the Phantom started the whole superhero genre, but
And
then
the look-
Superman is the
the-
Big
the-
Bang. What?
And
I'd say-
the underwear on the outside stuff, that's the Phantom then. That's
That's not.
Superman.
That's also not even the Phantom. That is like the old timey 19th century strongman.
I'd
Yeah,
say
exactly.
the big band of modern superhero comics.
Yeah, he's
What
using
about
anything.
Shadow?
If anything.
he's using
The
too
Big
many
Bang is the
analogies
origin,
to
though.
make his point.
The
This
Big
is
Bang is the origin, though.
Somebody better not be getting arrested then. because
Well, I
that's
mean,
outside.
if you think about it, I'm not
Covered
defending
my
this guy, but I'm just
tracks
saying it's
off,
like, how, in the way we know comics now, Superman is
Yeah.
the start of that,
right.
technically.
But he just pointed out how it wasn't.
Yeah, I know he said it. I know he said it in a way that makes no sense, but
he could have
Then
easily.
he probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, he could have easily said
True.
he's the most well-known, iconic, one of the oldest names in comic book history. And I'd be like, yep, we all agree. Okay.
it's true. Yes.
Anyway.
Life to just so many other characters. He's inspired generations of people and touched the lives and the imaginations of just hundreds of millions of people across the globe and across nearly a century. Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster created perhaps the most recognizable fictional character ever.
Yeah.
Superman would go on to achieve unparalleled success, save for a few of his peers like Batman. Throughout the 20th century,
Unparalleled
and so
except for
far
all
in
these
the
other
21st
words.
century, Superman has garnered
Yeah.
100% brand recognition.
And
He's
Spider-Man.
become synonymous with the concept
Well,
of
Spider-Man
the
came 20 years
superhero,
later,
and he's
so.
racked up
Yeah, but
billions
Spider-Man is
of
as iconic.
No, true.
People know Spider-Man all around the world.
Yeah, more than the DC guys. In some cases.
I still think
If you break it down, the ones that stand out the most are Superman, Batman, Spider-Man.
Steven
And
Seagal.
then it already thins out. Like Iron Man only has a big impact right now due to the MCU.
literally
Yes.
because of
Whether
Robert
that
Downey
stays
Jr.
is another question.
I mean,
still
those.
prefer
I mean,
the
those.
Japanese Spider-Man over the standard Spider-Man.
I hope he shows up in the new Spider-Verse movies. I really hope Toei doesn't.
From hell, Spider-Man!
I honestly hope Toei doesn't have enough of a stick up their ass to not allow it.
Oh well.
Fucking, can you imagine the Sinister Six trying to go up against Japanese Spider-Man? He just pulls a mech out of his ass.
No, he's used a gun.
My
I think the
favorite
gun would be
Spider-Man
enough.
technique gun.
I mean, well, it's not his, but he's used one.
All right, so his point was he's big, he's popular. There's also Batman. I agree. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. Fair point.
Okay.
He's highly popular, like all these other popular things.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Good enough.
But
That's
I think
good.
that's the big three, and they all work a
Controversial
bit
opinion.
different.
Yes.
Maybe that's because they stand out so well as well.
Okay.
dollars in profit across comics, movies, television, video games, radio, merchandise, theme parks, and just everything you can think of. Superman's publisher, DC Comics, was built on the success of the Man of Steel. Batman was only possible thanks to Superman's success. It's not
No.
hyperbole to say
Wait,
Not
no?
entirely.
It
No.
absolutely is hyperbole. They came out in the same year.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not that much. There's
Yeah. That point has plenty of holes to it that have been.
the only reason that Batman exists is because Superman's success. No, because Batman
No.
was part of, it was Action Comics and Detective Comics and
Yeah, it was Bob Kane doing his own thing.
yeah, and
Yeah, stealing from Bill Finger. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Finger was much
Yeah.
later. Well, Bill Finger was later, but yes.
all right, guys, can we just stop with the fingering, right?
All right.
Just
No,
get on.
yeah, let's talk about Phil Binger. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
say that Superman is one of the most influential, profitable.
Also, yeah, we get it. You read comics, so you're not just showing.
Does he read comics? This guy's reeks of Google normie.
We don't need every time he explains something from just to show himself reading the comic. I get it. I have the imagination to imagine you reading something. It's a very strange, very off-putting.
Isn't Wizard Comics discontinued like a while ago? Magazine, I mean.
I heard something along those lines.
I used to read it in the 90s. I know it was pretty long-lasting, but maybe this is a new version.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe that isn't actually the title of a comic called Wizard. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Profitable characters ever created in any medium. Yes, Superman is that influential and that profitable. And as we all know, in the United States of America, success is rewarded, right? Well, join me in shock and disgust whenever I tell you Siegel and Schuster died virtually penniless, having been tossed away by DC Comics, their names nearly erased from history. As we explore the themes of the very first Superman comic books, we'll try to answer these questions. What is the truth of the creator's tragic outcome?
In this essay about Superman, he's going to talk about how DC Comics fucked over Siegel and Schuster. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not about Superman.
Well, yeah, it's the same issue with, let's say, Steve Ditko, who did a lot of great stuff, and they weren't given as many royalties, let's say, as they should have, or they should have been given, as we think, because we see the work and we say, wow, who did this? It was Stan Lee and Ditko and all these other guys. But it was Marvel Comics that reaped all the profits. But that's any corporation, that's any company. You can be talking about the design of a logo that's world renowned. Like, who designed the Apple logo? It's like, I don't know, some artist. Is it that important? He was working at a job, he was doing his thing, and he happened to be a designer, and he did his work. And that's it. He's done.
Yep. There's nothing else to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's any designer, any creative that does any kind of media that's produced, whether it's a comic book, a movie. Like, do we know I know the guy who did the I forget his name, but the guy who did the animation for Jurassic Park. He was the first guy to come up with all these techniques, use the SGI workstations. He came out of Vancouver. You know, he had this whole documentary about him, but he's just a guy, and it was a team of guys who did this awesome stuff.
Everyone sort of remembers, what's his name? Is it Phil Tippett? Is that the guy's name who did the stop motion stuff? Everyone remembers that guy for some reason.
Yeah, that's the guy for Jurassic Park, Phil Tippett.
You got it.
Yeah. Hooray! I got something. Can I go home now? No, you're gonna watch the rest of it. Oh
no.
Yeah. All right.
Is there any justice for the poor and working class? Or are Siegel and Schuster's fates simply the American way?
Oh, no.
Kill yourself.
Wait a second. Okay, slow down. We could say
No.
any publisher, let's say a publisher of video games, EA, all right? They put up all the costs, they produce the discs, they do the marketing, they distribute the disc, they do all the shipping, all the legwork, all the heavy lifting. The developers and designers make the video game, they test it, da-da-da-da-da. Now, I'm sure there's a relationship between the publisher and the developer or the studio, and they get some royalty. Whether that's paid out to individual artists, that's really contractual. It's very specific. So that's up to whoever signed up for the job. I wouldn't see a Genius Junior anything get a royalty just because they made 40% of the assets, whether it's music or art. Good for them.
I just want to point out, if Siegel and Schuster had made Superman in the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union would have taken Superman as part of their propaganda and then fucking starved Siegel and Schuster to death.
Yeah.
Like,
As
just go back to
opposed to just taking money that they should have gotten.
Right.
Just go back to like the history of Tetris, for example. It's like very silly analogy, but the guy couldn't publish the work because it didn't go through the government process. So what happened is that he made a floppy disk copy of that thing, and he kept giving it away until it reached the Western country, and then he could finally publish the goddamn thing.
This is
a video game.
This is everything to do with the way that publishing works for anything. We could say media. We could say a hot dog. We could say anything. This is the rights of the producer to own and be upfront with all the profit and loss. That's normal. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about capitalism or market forces or some other economic model. Someone's going to be hitting the brunt of all the costs and what's going to happen to that product, whether it sells or not. And the relationship between the worker and the owner is contractual. It's up to
Also, you don't know what workers' rights were in the 30s in the case of comic books. Have they changed now? What's happened?
Right. Compare this to like an author who just, they have one book, a publisher says, okay, you write whatever. Why should I invest all this time and money publishing your book if it's not going to be any good, if it's not going to sell? So they have to have some assurance that this is going to work. So they start small. With comic books, it's very thin paper back in the day, only distributed in a certain local area. Was it New York or was it, man, I can't remember where it was, where it started, the original print. But, they don't just do it. They don't just print out millions of copies. They print out 10,000. It sells more. We'll print another 10,000.
Yeah.
We'll just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all risks. These are all things a publisher has to consider. Remember the joke about, what was that video game that was buried, the Atari video game that was buried in...
E.T.?
Yeah, they published like millions and millions of copies expecting everyone's going to buy it because it's a popular name brand.
Yeah.
But no one bought it because it's a bad product.
One of the worst games ever made.
Marketing.
Remember when that was a conspiracy theory that they they found them all,
and then it was actually true.
Yeah. And then they found all of them.
Kind of like COVID and everything, yeah.
So there's a science behind marketing. There's a science behind publication, and it's all down to the publisher how much money they want to spend. So.
Yeah, because no one's going to get something new and say, oh well, we'll make 10 million of these, because they're like, well, we'll 10 million people buy these. You know what I mean? They always think, well, let's make 100. If they sell those out, we'll make 200. If those sell out, we'll make more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's I think of it in terms of, say you're going to make an animation or a video game. I like giving the Joe Rogan example because here's a guy who all he does is interview people. That's all he does. It's his show. It's basically Larry King, just for the digital age. And there was
for
whoever, I don't care. And he managed to get was it $100 million deal on Spotify. He could have gone. He tried. I think he started on YouTube. I don't know where he started, but he could have gone anywhere. But because they knew the value of his product, they say, we are going to put you on our platform exclusively. And they spent a big, huge chunk of change so you could do your job. I don't know what the contract is. I don't know if he could quit tomorrow if he feels like it. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But this is the same idea. Oh, you're a really popular guy. You've been doing this for every day for 2-3 years, and you have millions and millions of views. We want you. Even though we're a music company or whatever. Spotify just originally for music. Now they do everything with sound and what have you. I don't know. I don't use Spotify, but I'm just assuming.
Anything here is on Spotify.
Mainly music, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So someone knew the quality of the product before it was even produced because they have previous examples. Boom. Publisher feels confident they're going to get the return. I could rightfully say they've been doing very well as a result of signing up Joe. So
yeah.
No, Smudboy, earlier you said video game and then Joe Rogan, and now I want a Joe Rogan video game.
The life of Joe Rogan.
Where he beats up Ethan Klein.
Yeah, he's just like this tiny little dude. You just go around beating people up and taking DMT.
I was thinking more or less his life where he works at. He starts off doing martial arts, so he's training every day, and then he somehow gets a comedy show because he starts off as a comedian on all clubs. So he has to go canvassing around, see if I can get a spot in a night show or something like that. Then he gets a what is it, a Hollywood gig on a soap, but not a soap opera. What is it? Talk radio, news radio. It's just this constant. Every chapter is different. It's a different game.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway.
Good times.
That's good.
Yeah, good.
All right, cool. Nice intro. Hopefully, I'm not getting
nice homage to the Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah.
Working class heroes.
Spaceballs.
Oh no, he's singing.
Grant
Morrison, I was right.
Stop doing this. Stop.
The pain is so big, you feel nothing at all.
You really have to enunciate, guy.
Hey, look, I read the first comic book.
This is special.
I'm really good.
Yes, Whisp, it is retarded.
A working class hero is something to be.
Alrighty.
Look up in the sky. Is it a bird? A plane?
Oh God.
Nope, it's a subscribe.
No,
button.
it's
Go ahead and
Superdog.
hit that, please.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, fuck you.
Jerry Siegel was born on October 17, 1914, in Cleveland, Ohio, to Jewish parents who had immigrated to New York in 1900. They had fled Lithuania amid rising anti-Semitism, with his father opening a clothing store in Cleveland to support his wife and 6 children. Siegel's family moved to the Jewish neighborhood of Glenville, Ohio in 1928, where young Jerome attended high school. When he was 16, Jerry met
These images do not reflect what he's saying, but okay.
Garrel walking through a village does not reflect what he's talking about Superman. I agree.
Yeah, this is just...
Tanks, like what the hell?
Well, it's 1914, isn't it? Because, you know, when the tank was invented in 1916, they used tanks in 1914, Smud, honestly. God, know your history.
Here's a derby with automobiles.
Also, I do have to laugh. He went anti-Semitism, and they showed tanks those tanks were from like the 1920s. So I don't know what the fuck he's actually on about.
Yeah.
Also, those are not tanks in Lithuania.
I think he said
shape because they're French tanks. But anyway,
he said 1970. He said 1928 somewhere in there.
No, he said 1914. He was born in 1914, but his family fled Lithuania due to growing anti-Semitism while showing scenes from Russia and France. Not Lithuania.
Yeah. Little strange imagery, but fine. It's old. It's in the ballpark.
If anyone he moved to Glenville where they were racing horses and then a couple of cars.
The Derby, when I attended high school. It's like, what?
There was no such thing as Lithuania at the time because it was part of the Russian Empire anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Technically, he could have just said the Russian Empire, but whatever.
All right.
Yeah, but if he mentions Russia and people fleeing, he might get people confused with the people fleeing Soviet Russia.
That would ruin his argument.
Yes, no one fled the communists.
There's no anti-Semitism in Soviet Russia because all the Jews did. But aside from that, there's no reason. There's no anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lovely history lesson that no one cares about. Anyway,
right. I've been told that he in the comments that or chat rather that he attacked EFAP earlier this year. And the title is Far Right Furries Mock Brown Table's Dope Spider-Man Shirt.
Mm-hmm. Of course he would do
right.
That. He needs the attention. It's kind of like the Cavernacle. Because like you remember like the Cavernacle used to have like only a few thousand subs. Now he has almost at 100k.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Like it's just like if you keep making political videos, like you just keep parroting like whatever like points you're seeing on Reddit, you're gonna get there.
Anyway, let's forget about that. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Another shy kid with glasses named Joseph Schuster. Siegel once recounted their early friendship, saying, "When Joe and I first met, it was like the right chemicals coming together. The two awkward boys bonded over a passion for science fiction, adventure fiction, and movies." Joseph Schuster was born in Toronto to a Jewish family on July 10th, 1914.
So you mean fiction?
His father was also a tailor, operating a shop in the Toronto garment district. Schuster's father, Julius, had immigrated from Holland, and his mother, Ida, from Ukraine.
That's
As a
strange
kid,
because his
Schuster
name
worked
means
as a
shoemaker.
newspaper boy for the Toronto Daily Star. His family barely scraped by to keep food on the table.
They had to eat a kid's leg.
It's gonna grow back, don't worry.
That's just random pictures, right?
Yeah, it's just paper boys.
Yeah,
I guess this was the family.
Do these people know he's using their pictures?
Classic.
Well, they're all dead anyway. No one's gonna argue, are they? You think Limpy here is alive to complain about his image being used?
I don't know.
They didn't make a nickel out of Superman, so let me use their image right now.
Yeah. You know these people who died poor and penniless? Now they're gonna fight back. They can't sue me.
What do I know? Maybe these are the very guys who are lying in the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Well,
how would you know?
The unknown comic book artist.
right. Anyway.
You're right.
We're 5 minutes into this, and the only thing that's actually of any interest is the one-legged kid. Like,
Yeah, I know.
That's it. Oh, who
More
is it?
interest, maybe.
Book of the Unknown Karen.
It is kind of interesting because I was actually a paperboy in Toronto, one of my first jobs. So.
What a coincidence.
So you knew some of these kids.
Oh, clearly, yeah. We wear the same
So
hats.
what you're saying is the Paperboy arcade game is based off of Smudboy.
Yeah,
I'm that old.
Arcade game.
you're not bad at all.
No, I do remember the Paperboy arcade game, or game in general.
Oh, that was so good. The Commodore.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
Anyway, let's go.
Unable to afford paper for his drawing practice, the aspiring young artist would scrounge for scraps of random paper that he could draw on. Schuster recalled in 1992, "I would go from store to store in Toronto and pick up whatever they threw out. One day I was lucky enough to find a bunch of wallpaper rolls that were unused and left over from some job. The backs were blank, naturally. So it was a gold mine for me, and I went home with every roll I could carry.
That's
I
dedication.
kept using that wallpaper for a long time." The duo began selling comic book stories to National Allied Publications in 1935. National Allied would, within a few years, become better known as DC Comics. Their first published comic book work came in New Fun number 6, dated October 1935. New Fun was the first comic book series composed only of original material. It's hard to imagine, but other comic books at the time were just reprinted newspaper comic strips like Flash Gordon, for example. If you'd like to learn more about Flash Gordon and his impact on comic books, there'll be a link below and up in the corner. Siegel and Schuster's first published stories were of a musketeer swashbuckler called Henry Duval and a supernatural crime fighter strip centered around Dr. Occult. Schuster recalled in 1992, "One was drawn on brown wrapping paper and the other was drawn on the back of wallpaper from Toronto, and DC approved them, just like that. It's incredible, but DC did say, 'We like your ideas, we like your scripts, and we like your drawings. But please, copy the stories in pen and ink on good paper.' So I got my mother and father to lend me the money to go out and buy some decent paper. The first drawing paper that I'd ever had, in order to submit these stories properly to DC Comics." Siegel and Schuster had been developing the Superman story and character since 1933, hoping to sell it as a syndicated newspaper comic strip, much like Flash Gordon. However, the original incarnation of the character was not recognizable as the last son of Krypton that we all know now. The Superman was conceived as a bald telepathic villain with the goal of world domination and featured in The Reign of the Superman.
Oh, so very socialist, Leninist sort of.
Yeah. I can see where the socialist aspect comes from it now. Total, utter world domination. Yeah.
I was going to think of was it Red Alerts?
Yeah.
I am Yuri. Obey me.
I just love the fact that is he probably looked at me and went, "Oh, Superman is an evil overlord." Yes, that reminds me of Joseph Stalin.
Meanwhile, and then eventually Lex Luthor would exist.
Interesting. Obviously, we took that idea and yeah. Well, so can I just say something? Why is working class background? Is this just because the people who made it were working class? Because if that's the case, that's everything.
Yeah,
so.
like any artist would, like, as we always say, starving artists. It's always been that way for artists. Doesn't matter how far back you go. You're throwing yourself at your artwork because that's what you dream about when you go to sleep and you wake up and you want to create it. And you're at the mercy of not necessarily the aristocracy, but whoever's willing to pay, so you can make them a painting or a sculpture or whatever. So that's normal. That's how it's always been.
As superfans will notice, that title was repurposed as an homage decades later for the quartet of new Supermen who emerged after the infamous Death of Superman story.
Spoilers.
Siegel and Schuster pitched their creation to Consolidated Book Publishing.
Spoilers for a
received an
30-year-old
encouraging letter,
comic.
but Consolidated stopped publishing comic books very soon after. Schuster was hurt by the rejection nonetheless. Accounts vary and conflict, with some saying Schuster burned the pages, with the cover surviving only because Siegel salvaged it from the flames, or it was just torn to shreds, with only 2 cover sketches remaining. Either way, it's very clear that this was a formative moment for Joe and Jerry. They challenged themselves to adapt and overcome, as working class people have to do every day.
As everybody has to do. Jesus fucking Christ. The working class aren't some strange beings.
The working class is a mythological thing in these people's minds. And interestingly enough, the moment socialists get into power, they do everything to sabotage the working class.
True. It's just people overcome adversity every day and they adapt.
Yeah, well, everyone except SJWs, because they are so fragile that they just screech and start twitching on the ground the moment someone tells them no.
But if this is just going to be him telling the backstory of Superman, he could have just said the backstory of Superman, not the social.
Yeah.
I've been lied to again. The title of the video.
There we go.
My disappointment is immense.
It's reasonable to assume that this rejection played a psychological role in the formation of what Superman became. The one we all know and love, represented by his durability, stoicism, and perseverance. Eventually, Siegel reused that name, the Superman.
Stoicism is not
for a new
allowed in
character
progressivism.
that would become the most famous superhero of all time. Schuster modeled the hero on Douglas Fairbanks Sr., and modeled his bespectacled alter ego, Clark Kent, on a combination of Harold Lloyd and Schuster himself. The name Clark Kent was derived from movie stars Clark Gable and Kent Taylor. Much in the same way that The Facebook was rebranded as Facebook by real-life Lex Luthor Mark Zuckerberg, the creators dropped the article.
No, Lex Luthor's Jeff Bezos. There's an actual bald white billionaire.
Klaus Schwab?
Well, I mean, aside from Carl Schwab, I'm talking of Jeff Bezos. Like, Jeff Bezos looks like Lex Luthor, and he goes Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's a fucking lizard in a human suit. How did you fuck that up?
Mark Zuckerberg isn't even that smart. He has other people to do stuff. He's literally
a
a
robot
moron.
lizard in a human suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Robot lizard. Big difference.
That's like saying real life Joker. No, Ted
like
Bundy.
you when I was human. I mean, I still am definitely human.
From when is this video? Because did nobody give him the memo that stoicism is white supremacy?
This month. It was all this month.
Yeah.
God,
He's pumping out these videos. Yeah, he's pretty dedicated. This
doesn't
guy
doesn't even know his fucking ideology.
His jokes aren't that on point. We'll give him that.
Wisp, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I didn't know the Bible either. So I mean, it makes sense. When you're in a cult, you don't know the cult's tenets, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be in it.
It's usually the case, yeah.
All right, let's go.
It's been a common joke that if socialists knew what socialism is about, they wouldn't be socialists.
Yes, we all know that.
Yeah.
The masses, at least.
Okay.
With one of its most enduring, powerful character monikers. Lois Lane, who would be established as a potential love interest in the first issue, was modeled on Joanne Carter, a model hired by Schuster. Joanne Carter would later marry
A model hired by that's what they are model
Mm-hmm.
That's what,
Well, she doesn't look convinced.
she's probably thinking, why the hell is this guy unbuttoning his shirt? Also, why are my tits named Lois and Lane?
Hey, you leave those ladies' tits alone. She can call them whatever she likes.
Also, it doesn't look like Lane, it looks like land. It's like they're saying Lois Land. Or something.
Oh, You can name tits whatever you like, but giving them flat names is usually not a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, I shouldn't call him lefty and righty then.
Todd and Bob, don't do that. Can you imagine if someone named their tits Keith? That'd be very strange.
Oh yeah. Okay, come over here and give Keith a nice old squeeze, Orc.
Oh, God.
My mind's somewhere else now.
Anyway,
Anyway.
let's keep going.
co-creator Jerry Siegel in 1948, with a concept that they hoped could become a hit. And after 6 years fruitlessly soliciting the syndicates, Siegel and Schuster finally secured a deal to publish Superman in a comic book. In March of 1938, they sold the rights to Superman to the comic book publisher Detective Comics Inc., another forerunner of DC, for $130. Around $2,400 when adjusted for inflation. This deal also contained a commitment by the pair to supply the publisher with new Superman material. Much like Jack Kirby and just dozens of other creators during these early years of the comic book industry, Siegel and Schuster couldn't have possibly conceived of the actual success that their creation would go on to achieve. Try to put yourself in their shoes. To sell this idea that you've grown and nurtured from, just a seed of an idea, and you've refined it and turned it into something that you really believe in. And you've had so many doors shut in your face that whenever you finally reach someone that's willing to, give you scraps for your idea, you sell it. You need a win. You need that validation. It probably looked like...
You need to eat. Yes, we get it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
but at the same time, you need to protect your own intellectual property.
Yeah, so you make a contract. Then you sort a contract out. Sometimes you get screwed over in the contract.
You think for a pair of Jews, they'd know how to write a contract better.
Okay, anyway, here's two super chats. I'm a little slow on this as I was listening to this guy's video. Here's the Giga chat. Hey, Giga, how you doing? Oh, God, I just showed up. I can already detect cringy, commie, agitative propaganda for anyone who doesn't know. No, Superman is not for socialism. He's not a political tool. And the true Superman endorses no specific politic. Yeah. Aside from believing in the American way, truth and justice, that's about it. He's pretty much his own.
Yeah, that's more of a principle than a political ideology.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Great Scott. Thank you for the 3. The more I look around, the more I realize we're living in a weird timeline where DC and Marvel converged and gave us the Lizard and Lex Luthor. Sadly, both tweet about how great the ideas that come from guys like this are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, what does the Lizard have to do with it? I'm just like, oh.
Well, it's been 10 minutes, and he's just talking about the history of the people making Superman. You're like, all right.
Instead of Superman, which is what the premise of the video is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, we're just not understanding the video. Anyway, how is this Watchman's fault?
Well, even that, the thumbnail, oh dear. The thumbnail was Superman's socialist roots. And we were like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't it say working class roots?
Well, no. The title does, but the thumbnail.
I haven't seen the thumbnail.
Well, it's that.
Oh, he changed the title. The thumbnail still has the same title while he just branded the title of the YouTube video itself.
Oh, right. So what he's done is he conflated working class with socialism, released this video, was told that that's not the case, and so he's had to change.
All this
is he an idiot or is he a cunt?
Well, all this is a bunch of guys who have an idea and they're trying to sell it. That's all it is. And that's totally normal. You watch Dragon's Den, you watch all these other shows. They have a product they want to sell. They need funding to get it going, and that's it. That's what you do. You look for investors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's the thumbnail. Superman's socialist origins. What a fucking retard.
Now, welcome to the conversation, Whisp.
Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, we're here. Hello.
Can we throw him into a socialist country? Can we throw him into North Korea?
South Korea.
We could just skip
he
the
needs
middleman.
a good taste of real socialism.
No, we could just skip the middleman and throw him into a corpse hole.
And he'll just blame capitalism again.
Anyway.
Well, he'll blame it for all the 5 seconds before he's shot in the back.
Anyway, this is no different than watching the History Channel. They talk about aliens all day, so it's the same idea.
Yeah, but that's at least entertaining.
Oh.
Sometimes the History Channel talks about Hitler in pawn shops.
Yeah. Was Hitler an alien?
Stop being disingenuous, Smud. Come on now.
Oh, I don't know. That meme of that guy from the History Channel is just so well known.
You're much more negative than I am.
Okay. Anyway.
That's saying something.
No.
Got him.
Anyway.
No.
This was their last chance, and very likely it was. They had no way to conceive of the theme parks and the video games and the blockbuster films that Superman would go on to be in. They couldn't possibly have known
Video
how
games.
big Superman would get. That $130 wasn't a windfall by any means. It was rent and food money for a couple of working-class sons of immigrants, simply trying to make ends meet using this creation of theirs. Crafted with passion, refined over time with relentless dedication,
Today
and
you would
marketed
call them
to nearly
privileged white
every
people.
possible avenue of publication. But the basic need for survival in our capitalist society gave them no choice but to relinquish all rights to Superman.
Okay.
No. They could have easily, they could have just said no to the contract and then rewrote it to where they'd have, at least a portion of the rights.
Well, that is possible, but we're talking about trying to get your product. Like the angel investors, they want a piece of the pie. That's why they give you the money up front so you can do your job. Plus, these guys aren't publishers. They don't know how to publish. They know how to make the comic. They don't know how to manufacture it.
Also, I think people seem to also forget that in the 30s, America was still reeling from the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to be an
that was
artist is almost impossibly hard.
Yeah, in a good time. So, okay, so you've got the Great Depression. Bear in mind that America didn't become the powerhouse that people think it is, until after the war, due to the fact that the rest of the Western world bombed itself backwards, pretty much. And America
I mean,
was
you
able
bombed
to...
the rest of the world backwards too.
Oh, look at that! The Germans mouthing off again.
Oh, wait. Let me correct.
I'm
The Americans
English.
bombed.
Yes, so it's not. Yeah. Anyway, but what
The
I'm trying to
Americans
say
didn't
is,
get bombed. Nobody
Yeah, but
bombed
what
the
I'm-
Americans back to smithereens.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say
They
is,
only bombed a couple ships, and then,
Pearl Harbor.
We extra bombed them.
yeah, but
If anything, it was the Japanese that bombed Pearl Harbor. That's when
Yeah.
they real. That's
Well,
when they,
fucking games.
that's what caused them to go into the war in the first place. That was the last straw.
well,
No,
well,
it's not a destruction of civilian population and industry.
yeah.
I'm not saying it is.
well,
I'm just saying that's why they got into the war.
Yeah, well, what I'm trying to say is, America made a lot of its money from supplying the Allies with weapons. I mean, because Britain was still paying loans off until 2009. So America was making its money, and that's how America became
Oh, not
rich.
just that. The main
Yeah,
suppliers of money were supplying all sides,
Yeah, but
and set in America.
Roosevelt was sending weapons over to the
Roosevelt.
United Kingdoms. However you pronounce it, whatever, I don't care. I say Roosevelt, you say wheelchair man.
I say it correctly, yes.
Potato, whatever, don't care. Anyway,
Vegetable.
what I'm saying is, before the war, America wasn't fucking really anything. Before the Second World War, America was not even a really a big player in the world with a lot of things. Yeah,
And then Japan fucked up.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, he's looking at this from a viewpoint of 21st century America. When
Yeah, there's no comparison.
Yeah, you've got to look at it from a viewpoint of the 30s, where you've got you've
The
come
New
out
Deal.
of the Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New Deal, depression, all this sort of stuff. So you're desperate for money, whatever you can get.
Yeah, and even Canada was everyone was feeling that across the world. So it wasn't just an American thing. It just originated from there. And if you can get a job as an artist, that's amazing. Bravo.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
Like, did this guy not remember the fact that he brought up that, Siegel had to borrow money from his parents to buy paper?
Yeah.
All right.
You said that, guy.
All right. Here's Great Scott again. Thank you, sir. The only people allowed to bomb America is ourselves.
Yes. Thanks, Obama.
Okay. Let's continue.
Like, that actually happened.
Until 1938 and the arrival of Superman, most comic books were simply reprinted comic strips found in nearly every newspaper.
Didn't he already say
Publishers
that?
simply
He already
couldn't
said
afford
that.
the rights to print new stories with any established popular characters. This created a vacuum in the burgeoning industry in which a paradigm shift was sorely needed. Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster filled that void and propelled the comic book format and popular fiction into the stratosphere. Action Comics #1 was the genesis of what eventually came to be known as the Golden Age of comic books, an ironic title considering what we'll learn in a moment. The word Superman had been coined originally by philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche.
Are you retarded?
Translated from the German word Übermensch.
Go on, Wisp.
Are
Yeah.
you fucking retarded?
60 seconds.
Lay his ass out.
Cue
It's
the
not
do music.
the same thing. God.
Good enough for me. Let's go on.
Okay, let's keep going. Yeah.
This translation was popularized by Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw in his play Man and Superman, and this familiarized audiences with the concept and set the stage for the hero who would set the mold.
Oh, wait, hold on. How many people
Looking
in
at the
America
first
are
issues
reading
of
George
Superman
Bernard
comic.
Shaw in the 1930s?
12.
Okay. So I definitely laid the groundwork. Fucking
Yes. Those 12 people also happen to be Jews who control the entire country. So,
Yeah, starving artists clearly have access to books and buying them in stage productions.
The guy that had to borrow money to get paper to draw on definitely knows about George Bernard Shaw.
sure. Yeah.
The Übermensch or the Overman is not about physical strength and physical superpowers and flying around. It is about self-actualization. Superman doesn't have to do much of that. He is already that. Like he's 99% actualized to the peak, because he's an ideal to strive for. While the Übermensch, the Overman, is the mature mind that reflects and corrects itself when there is flaw. And that is the thing where you can make a parallel to Superman. Has a fucking spine and stands up for others. But sees the world clearly and without any ideological mist obscuring his vision. But just for what it is, not for what he wants it to be. He doesn't mistake an odd for an is. That's what that's about. It's basically Marduk is closer to the Overman than Superman is.
Yeah, we're talking like, when does it come out? Like 1880s?
What is it with socialists and getting Nietzsche wrong all the time?
Yeah. No, this obviously this is a philosophy was published decades ago, and then was translated from another playwright as a play in 19 something. I can't remember the date. So I don't know if it was made into a book, but
like these people don't even read the fucking authors. You can read Beyond Good and Evil. It's a relatively short thing, mainly singular thoughts in there. It's like I think 1 or 2 essays, and it's a very short summary of what he thinks the Overman, the Übermensch, and the Untermensch, the subhuman, is. And it's just that dichotomy between the self-actualizing, upright person and the cowardly, always dependent person. The Overman strives for independence.
Yeah.
Not for subservience, not for collectivism, not for nationalism, not for any group thing or group affiliation, but for standing on his own.
Now that you mentioned that, it's pretty much the exact reference to the video game Beyond Good and Evil, which has nothing to do with that book as well. It's just a cool title to have 100 years later. So
like Guts from Berserk has more to do with being an Übermensch than actually Superman does.
Yeah, because Guts is constantly self-actualizing.
All right,
because he's figuring out something new about himself and the world.
Yeah, the name could be popularized, but that's about it. Not the sense behind the name.
Read Nietzsche.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great idea.
Read Nietzsche. Read Nietzsche. Get it right.
If anything from this video, guys, just go read some Nietzsche. It's
not that much. It's not that much.
Or just read Berserk.
Or just read
just read it. Listen to no one.
Read them both. We should do
Better
it.
art.
At the end of
Better
every
art.
Smudcast, we're going to recommend books to read, which have nothing to do with what we just talked about.
Today's book of the day, Nietzsche.
Instead of listening to this person, you could read this.
Okay. JS, thanks for the one. Arguably, Paul Atreides from Dune is more of an Overman archetype than Superman.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting take. Let me think about that. There's a lot to like about Paul and his plight and how he got to where he went and all the mysticism surrounding it. There's very religious overtones there for sure. And of course the superhuman nature. Yeah, I would say that would fit in. It's more of a sci-fi, but yeah, it's a better fit, I would say. Yeah. Alrighty, here we go.
We see that Superman wasn't even the star of Action Comics for the first several issues. He was but one feature of various stories, but quickly interest in this alien immigrant grew to a point that he could no longer be sidelined. About a year after his debut in Action Comics, Superman was made the star of his own book, and the world would be changed forever. The art within these initial books could be seen as crude and unrefined at first glance. But as Jim Steranko, legendary comic book artist and historian, has said,
by today's standards, Joe Schuster's art is primitive. But what it lacks in sophistication and pretension, it makes up for in raw, energetic imagery.
Schuster had been formally educated in illustration with a scholarship to the Cleveland School of Art. But keep in mind that there was no standard established for superheroes yet, and Joe took his inspiration from humor and adventure books that were the style at the time. Superman's powers were almost unrecognizable from what we all know now. He couldn't withstand a nuclear blast, for example. In fact, at the time, he could be wounded by large enough munitions. He couldn't see through walls. He couldn't fly to the ends of the universe. Superman couldn't fly at all, but merely leap 1/8 of a mile at a time.
Thanks, Silver Age.
Superman's heroic priorities in those initial comics
Hercules.
in the late 1930s was
Basically,
an
yeah.
expression of Siegel and Schuster's life experiences till that point. His very first story in Action Comics was titled Superman, Champion of the Oppressed, with an exclamation point declaring his arrival. And the vast majority of these earliest stories were centered around working class and poor people, common scenarios that still exist today. Other early titles clearly stated the purpose for Superman's heroism, such as Superman in the Slums, in which
And from this, he wants to make the argument that it is a socialist origin, while completely mistaking that this is just the people, and socialism screws over the people. Socialism screws over the working class and the oppressed, oppressing them even more.
Well, even in the movie, he's
What they do with this whole SAT bullshit, with the equity crap and everything
Yeah,
else.
but
It's too much to know.
he's always been the good
Right.
guy, the Boy Scout, the guy who saves kittens from trees and stops
Yeah.
meteorites from crashing into the earth. Like, he does everything. So nothing's too small for Superman. He'll take care of it. That's what he wants to do. It's nothing to do with helping the
Because
working
he's that
class.
pure.
Yeah, and the oppressed are just the ones tyrannized, the ones wronged by evil. That's not necessarily your magical evil capitalist phantom. That can just be regular corruption. You know that the socialist state also has corruption in it. Have you ever looked at Soviet Russia and China?
No, that wasn't real.
Well, this
Still
is no
isn't?
different than a Detective Comics with Batman, where
Venezuela.
Batman beats the guy up, Superman will just pick him up and throw him in jail. So
Yeah.
it's the same,
Literally throw him in jail.
Yeah, no, it's the same idea, just different ways of going about exacting justice. So
of juveniles in trouble for petty crimes that they committed at the command of a slumlord. Superman set his sights on the slumlord who's been
You know what slumlords often are? Socialists. I know a couple of them. My landlord is a slumlord, and he is a rabid socialist who even sits on city council and fights against the corruption of the conservatives. He even formed his own party, like a tiny party of which he is the head on, like a little cult of personality. But he himself He has the worst houses in the fucking city, never invests in them, never renovates them. They're falling apart to the point where people get injured. He doesn't give a shit. If you complain about anything, he will either ignore you or gaslight you. Or and if you do that too often, he will try to throw you out. He's tried to throw out people for being sick. He can't even do that. We have laws against that. I'm not talking about the coup. I'm talking about like people who are in bad mental health that can't do shit to help themselves, who need help. You can't throw people out when they're dealing with that, even if they don't pay rent here. Because of that. Because then the state has to help keep them up so that they can get better again.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how...
But this asshole slumlord is a fucking socialist.
I'm trying to see the connection between...
He's inhuman.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the connection between capitalism and slumlord. I'm really trying to...
Slumlords make money. Making money is capitalism because you don't make money in socialism. You just starve.
Oh.
Yeah, there is the slumlord. If you wanna talk socialism, capitalism with this, the term we use is rent shark. That's more the capitalist form of exploitation of tenants. But even they invest more in the shit than the slumlords.
Okay.
Slumlords are left.
All right.
And Hawk, you remember this? What was it? Grenfell Tower thing?
Yeah.
The big fire.
I know.
Who runs that thing? Whose constituency is that?
Labour.
I think at least Corbyn was making speeches. Whoa, this is capitalism's fault. No, it's Labour's fault.
Yeah, that is. Wisp's got me there. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Hold my hands up. Yeah. Anyway, Superman.
Exploiting
Wisp always wins.
keeping in mind that Superman's power was but a fraction of what we know it to be today. He beat the slumlord.
Fraction is an
and
understatement.
ordered him out of town. Then, Superman swoops in to rescue the boys themselves, just as the cops were hauling them to jail. In another encounter with the flawed justice system, Superman intentionally goes to prison to investigate shocking abuse being perpetrated by the prison superintendent. Prisoners are whipped and beaten, all while breaking rocks in the hot sun.
I can see why he thinks of socialism. So, yeah.
Oh, it is describing human nature.
Labor.
Oh no.
Forced labor in a jail, yeah. That's recent socialism, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, corruption in a position of power. It must be capitalism.
The prison system. Like, what?
But 9 times out of 10, it's socialism. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Superman fought the law, and Superman won. Beating the hell out of wife abusers, ending the machinations of con artists, trouncing
There's nothing to do with
construction
socialism.
scammers, breaking up racketeering rings, and weeding out corruption from a trade union.
Isn't that all socialist problems that he just listed that we know from feminist circles and then all that shit? Oh, corrupt trade unions. You mean like all of them?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my god! I think
99%
I
of
figured it out. He's gonna get to the point that like the S actually stands for socialism.
What? Come on, that's silly.
I'm willing to bet it. Well,
Okay.
Oh yeah, the secret messaging, the secret codes.
So anyway, Superman helps all kinds of people in different scenarios, in different walks of life, in different institutions. He goes in, saves the day. That's his thing. Okay.
And that's socialism, because socialism helps everyone.
Guys!
Okay.
These
if
were
they
the
want
early
to start a
priorities
new
for
diet,
Superman,
yes.
and therefore important themes to Siegel and Schuster themselves. The original run of Superman certainly featured action and adventure, but the core of many stories were the victims of corrupt systems and exploitative hierarchies. Siegel and Schuster's status as children of Jewish immigrants influenced their work.
What?
They
What?
crafted an immigrant figure whose desire was to fit into American culture as an American.
Uh-huh.
Siegel and Schuster
Yes.
later regretted their
Oh,
decision to
okay.
sell Superman after he became an
Well, we talked about
astonishing
Superman for a good
success.
5 seconds. That
DC
was
Comics now owned the character and reaped all the royalties.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, DC Comics retained Siegel and Schuster as the principal writer and artist for the Superman comics,
great. Yes,
paying them
because
a
that was
living
their
wage.
contract.
But when contrasted with the total profit Superman would ultimately yield, that amount is paltry.
Yeah,
we'll
but
discuss that in a
they
few
signed a contract, guy. They signed a contract. This is why you have to be careful when you're signing contracts to big corporations.
It's all their mistake.
Like,
Yeah,
socialism didn't have anything to do with it. Like I said, if the socialist government had found out about Superman, they would have just taken it and bashed
Yeah.
Siegel and Schuster upside the head.
This is like the story of Shigeru Miyamoto. He made all kinds of great legendary video games. They're owned by Nintendo, but they know our golden boy is still around. He's still in the corner there, helping us out. So, but they own it.
And it's like the counter example is what Ubisoft is currently doing to the new Settlers game, which has absolutely nothing to do with Settlers. Like a broken husk of it by game developers that don't fucking know what the series is about and make some weird thing out of it that is just unplayable and that can appeal to no one, that has no audience. And they had you may see a parallel to what they do with Cowboy Bebop and Wheel of Time, where they have the original inventor of the series of the game series on board in the first few weeks for legitimacy and hype. Like, oh look, the original developer is on board with this, is working on this. Yeah, but he's so grossed out by what they want to do with it that he leaves after a couple weeks. Because this what they want to make out of it has nothing to do with what the game is about, but they just completely ignore any of his input because they think they know better, and then they produce just awkward shit that is just unbearable. I can go into a 10-minute explanation on what is wrong about the new Settlers game, but most Americans probably don't even know what the series is.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah,
I can actually name one example when it was good that like the original creators have sold the idea to a mega corporation, and that's like Left 4 Dead, because it turns out that like 95% of the team was coming from Valve. So like that original 5% of the creators of Left 4 Dead who came up with the idea, yes, like the initial concept of like how the design would go from campaign and 4 players, have barely done anything for the creative department or the gameplay. So that was a good decision to sell the rights.
And that on top of Valve being unable to count to 3.
Well, I don't fucking care about that, but like that was a solid game. Like the original creators didn't do jack shit other than create the idea.
Yeah.
All right.
DC Comics had published a story featuring a younger version of Superman called Superboy, which was based on a story that Siegel had submitted to DC, but DC Comics had not paid for the story. And because DC had not paid for the copyright,
isn't this Superboy
Siegel
Prime?
sued them. Another valid complaint that the two had with DC was that they had cheated them out of royalties from the Superman radio show and all the merchandise. So, at the same time, they sued for the rights to Superman as well. The result of the lawsuit saw Siegel and Schuster agree to relinquish the copyrights of both Superman and Superboy in exchange for a settlement of just over $94,000. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $1 million in today's money. After paying his court fees, Jerry Siegel was left with about $29,000. Siegel was conscripted into the United States Army on June 28, 1943. He was trained as an airline engine mechanic, a film editor, a motion picture cutter, public relations man, a motion picture writer, and a reporter. He was posted in Honolulu, where he was given a writing job at the military newspaper Stars and Stripes. He focused mainly on comedy columns. Siegel was discharged on January 21, 1946, at the rank of Technician 4th Grade. After the war, Siegel moved to New York. He attended the 1940 ChiCon, the second World Science Fiction Convention, and he appeared in the convention's masquerade as Clark Kent. That's right. Superman's co-creator cosplayed as Superman's alter ego.
What the fuck has this got to do with socialism?
Don't know.
This is pain. This is
Lots
pain.
of
It's like this guy got conscripted into the army and spent all the war in
No. First he had a court case about the lawsuit. And then he went conscripted to the U.S. Army. Like, does this guy have a script? Because like, I really bothers me when he can't go chronologically. Like, because this has nothing to do.
I bet he writes his script like Jason Unruhe.
Yeah,
Absolutely no structure.
The thing is, I'm really, really sorry that these people won their court case but only asked for $94,000.
Yeah, it sounds like Siegel and Schuster are really bad at legal stuff.
Yeah,
That's not a fault of capitalism. That is a fault of them not knowing their strengths and hiring somebody.
Also,
of them being stupid.
Yeah, but the people who made Superman, why did they not find work elsewhere? Why did they not just get gobbled up by some other company? What's the reason
The
behind
war,
that?
I guess.
Well, the war didn't. Oh, sorry. They must have. Did he lose his hands in Honolulu? Did he touch a Hawaiian girl too much and they cut him off?
Yes, his hand got stuck.
Bear in mind, he's in Honolulu in 1943. He ain't got to worry about Pearl Harbor, has he? Do you know what I mean?
Lots of mahi tuna. Lots of cocktails.
The horrific bongo bar explosion of 1944, where
the guest was
27
left.
Yeah, the casserole was discharged.
So the police took him in. And
Yeah,
questioned him.
You say bongo. That's literally the name of a Zelda boss. I was like, what?
Yeah, bongo. Yeah.
Maybe,
I'm not kidding.
maybe he got bored of tiki drinks and Honolulu girls.
Some song in my head right now, but I can't really make out the lyrics.
Okay.
Something about bingo bongo.
Bingo, bango, bongo. I'm so happy in the jungle.
Boingo,
I
boingo.
refuse to go.
Yeah.
What?
You don't know this
Have you
song?
not played Fallout,
Fuck no.
bro.
Ikan bokan.
Play
Bingo,
more.
bongo.
Play
In the
more
Congo?
Fallout. Listen to Frank Sinatra. That's how it goes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Which game?
All of them.
3.
All of them.
What do you mean, which game? They're all great.
Yeah. It's like that.
They're all great. Whoa now. Whoa now.
Great, you sure about that?
Whoa.
Number 1, number 2. I liked 3. I liked what is it?
New Vegas.
The
You are ignoring a
turn-based one.
massive elephant. That statement ignores a massive elephant in the room.
Schleichfahrt?
I just like the way that Gingman's like, someone's like, play the Fallout game, and Gingman's like, which one? And someone's like, yes.
I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm fine with
Lee's
just New
rude.
Vegas. Thank you.
No, that's the best. But Brotherhood of Steel.
I followed.
Even 4 is fun.
On Fallout 1 and
Well,
2 RTSs.
Yes.
But
RTS
Fallout-
is the wrong. No,
Well,
it's just
turn-based,
It's turn-based, but
whatever.
it's not an RTS.
Hexagonal.
Strategy.
Whatever you call it.
Isometric.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best ways to play Fallout is every time you see some sort of law enforcement, just say, "I want a lawyer," repeatedly.
It's like
I
calling Mega Man
want
and beat 'em
a
up.
lawyer.
Or I'm with the NCR.
Pay your taxes.
I am law enforcement. I choose the NCR every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Better than the Legion.
making him one of, if not the first ever, to do so.
Sad piano?
During
Hello?
the span of their contract
Oh.
with DC between 1937 and 1947, Siegel and his friend Schuster had
Wow,
together
they look
earned
so-
more
They
than
look
twice
really
the-
old for 1937. In color, even. From fashion from the 70s too. How'd they get fashion from the 70s in 1937? It's amazing.
So they paid all their money for time traveling technology.
What is wrong with people like this?
Let's take a photo completely out of context 30 years later. It's like, what? No.
Schuster, we're not gonna sell the rights this time.
This fucking idiot cites Nietzsche, gets it wrong, and has no standards of his own.
The guy should French tanks for Lithuania. Come on,
No
That was the
sense of
best.
time.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, no, I'm out of this. Nah.
They went back with the time machine to ask Nietzsche, like, what did he mean about the Übermensch?
Now imagine the socialist shill being in a position of power and ruling over your constituency or state or even country with this level of consistency.
42.
It's fine.
I want to go to high school where there
Okay.
are derby races with automobiles.
And horses.
Oh, boy. Anyway.
42.
$400,000 working for the publisher.
It's a lot of money.
Siegel returned to DC Comics in 1959 at the prompting of his second wife. Although he did write some Superman stories, he no longer had any creative control, but instead answered to the direction of his editor. He wrote quite a lot of the super team Legion of Superheroes. Joe Schuster filed another lawsuit against DC for royalties for Superman, but ultimately was defeated by DC's corporate legal team. By 1959, Joe Schuster and his family were living in a one-bedroom apartment in Great Neck, Long Island, and struggling to pay their bills. Jerry Siegel...
Get another job then. Good God.
Yeah, you should be pretty good at getting a job if you invented Superman. It's like, hey, the guys
Superman.
who invented Superman, let's get him on
That's-
Marvel or whatever.
And that one point on your portfolio is enough to get you anywhere. Should be enough to get you anywhere.
It would have been funny if Marvel scooped these two guys up in the 60s. That would have been hilarious.
It's almost like a camping company going, the man who invented fire. No, we're not going to hire that guy. It's like, what? Why
Well,
would
he's
you?
probably an arsonist, so
Caveman?
Well, yeah, no, but you know what I mean. It's very weird. You know, the guy who created Superman, and you're in the comic book industry. You're like, no, let's not hire him. Let's hire someone completely different.
yeah, this guy who invented the wheel, like I really don't know if we should take him. Or this guy who invented the brick in ancient Egypt, with which allowed them to build this all their considerably modern houses. I don't know, man.
I know, pretty iffy.
All right.
first
That
worked for
obviously
Marvel
means
in
something else
1963 under the pseudonym Joe Carter. Alongside Stan Lee, he co-created the villain Plant-Man. He also wrote the Human Torch story in Strange Tales number 112 and 113.
Oh, cool.
Using his real name, Siegel penned a backup story
I was
starring X-Man
joking.
Angel, which ran in Marvel Tales and Kazar. Jerry Siegel was down on his luck and in ill health at the time, according to then Marvel editor-in-chief Stan Lee, so he gave him a job at Marvel as a proofreader, during which time Siegel wrote the Angel story. Around a decade later, Joe Schuster was struggling to pay the bills as well, and with rapidly deteriorating eyesight, he was unable to secure drawing work, despite a number of ideas and a desire to work. Taking a job as a delivery man, Joe Schuster once delivered a package to the headquarters of his former employer, DC Comics. The workers at the time are said to have been embarrassed by this nearly blind old man, who in large part built the company for which they worked. The CEO of DC Comics called Joe into his office, handed him $100, and told him to get some new clothes and find a new job. Such disrespect and disregard for one of the co-creators of Superman. By 1976, Schuster was poor, legally blind, and living in a California nursing home. Meanwhile, Jerry Siegel became chronically ill with a cardiac disease, which once again sent him into dire financial times. After being let go from Marvel, he was unable to secure regular writing work. In 1975, upon hearing that Warner Brothers was producing a Superman film, Siegel called attention from the press to his medical condition, essentially shaming the company and its subsidiary DC Comics into a payout as a way to do damage control before their big movie was released. Warner Brothers agreed to give Siegel and Schuster a lifetime stipend of $20,000 a year, in exchange for never again contesting the ownership of the copyright to Superman. That amount was later increased to $30,000 a year. Decades ago, DC had stopped crediting the two men in Superman comics, effectively disconnecting the superhero from his creators in the public consciousness. This final deal between the creators and the publisher cemented Siegel and Schuster would always be credited for the Man of Steel. Without this often overlooked moment, it's easy to imagine that their names would have faded from history, as DC had no incentive to feature them as Superman's creators. Warner Brothers and DC won the optics game by silencing the creators with money they desperately needed to survive. Similarly to when they originally pitched the Man of Steel, the duo wasn't paid for the value of their labor or a fair share of enormous profits. Profits that simply wouldn't have existed.
Yeah, profits
without
that simply
creativity,
could have not
hard
existed
work.
given any other... Like, if nobody had taken interest in Superman, Superman would not have been the thing it is today. It's just as simple as that. Like, DC took a gamble. Like, this is what these fucking socialists don't understand. When you buy something like this, an intellectual property, you are taking a gamble on whether it's going to be successful or not. If that gamble does not pay out, you are out the money you invested into buying the IP.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only problem that this, or one of the main problems that the American copyright has, is that it does not distinguish between copyright and creator right. Creator right under German copyright also needs reform, like mad. We tried that, but it's like you are up against several industries at once, and but at least what German copyright has is a distinction between that. It's called Urheberrecht, and that is the creator right you can never lose, and you cannot give it away. You will always be, even if you lose any monetary right, any copyright to the thing that because you give it away by contract, the creator right will always remain with you. That means you always will have to be credited as the creator. You cannot be erased. If anyone does that you are eligible to damages. That's something that the US could have needed, apparently.
Yep.
But other than that, what the fuck does any of that have to do with the fucking title?
This is just their working class background, how they got screwed over. It's like, yeah, that happened to a lot of art. That happened to a lot of them in the past because the laws weren't that great to help.
Socialism does this by definition. Under socialism, you never own your intellectual property. You never own your inventions. They always belong to the state immediately.
Yeah.
Like what you're telling us is this big sob story, and it is a sad story. It is tragic. It is maybe even hell. But under socialism, this would be the standard, not a corrupt exception. It would be the standard, you bloody idiot.
But it's not even corrupt. Siegel and Schuster did it to themselves by signing a really bad contract.
Well, you could say that the corruption is in the style of the contract, but
yeah. Plus, they sued the company over the years like 3 or 4 times now, until the last one was like, okay, guys, you can't sue us any more times. Here's 10 or 20 grand a year, which got changed again to 30. Like it's just like
like you said, they were resorted to essentially shaming Warner Brothers and DC by the time the first movie came out.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And perseverance, all of which were built on their experiences as first-generation working-class Jewish Americans.
What is his background? What is he
Siegel
doing?
and Schuster were given what amounts
Is she
to
flying through
green
his room?
screen.
so as not to disrupt the massive profits that Warner Brothers and DC would see when Superman made the world believe a man could fly.
Look at all my comics paraphernalia.
This may seem like a comfortable payment for their creation, but only until you learn that As of 2017,
So it's
the
something
character
you
of
can live
Superman
on.
had garnered just under $2 billion in profit. The executives at Warner Brothers and DC line their pockets with just astonishingly large bonuses and payments, despite box office bombs, legendarily awful video games. The last son of Krypton endures. DC and Warner Brothers will always be able to fall back on Superman, no matter how many times they artistically and financially step on a rake.
Are you sure about that?
Thank you.
Not because
You
those
still don't
companies
understand
are
how
worthy
business
of
works.
endless second chances, but because Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster created a character that endures despite their corporate bungling. DC and Warner Brothers aren't too big to fail, but Superman will always return from the dead, carrying their corporate husks.
Are you?
What has this got to do with anything?
I don't know.
Yeah. Just
He thinks
Also,
Superman is never going to die. It's like the idea of it, but not the actual comic. The comic's probably going to die. The video game.
no, the comic's definitely going to die because they fucking killed Superman and replaced him with gay Superman.
You will have
Super gay.
you will have rogue Superman comics made by real fans at some point.
Yeah.
That will be contested by the rights holders then at the time, but they won't even. It may even go to the point where the really good comics are made anonymous without monetary investment or incentive. Just because someone really loves to make a Superman comic, no matter what.
Fan projects.
Yes. Just like the Star Wars fan films. Man, there's some really good ones.
Video games are still going through those growing pains right now.
But
Thanks, Nintendo.
yeah, but the thing is, I'm just listening to him talk about two Jewish people who got screwed over, and I'm like, okay, this is sad, but number one, you made this video to begin with about his socialist background. You never once mentioned anything socialist at all. And also his working class background, it's like, yeah, you'll find that most people in the 1930s were working class.
Right.
And also, even if this video, even if
he isn't.
And again, even if this video was more about them than it already is, it's like they still kind of won out in the end, 30K a year.
Yeah, that is not a lot in comparison.
It's
But
more
it's
than
a
it's more
very
than
livable income.
For the average Joe living life just like going by, it's like, okay, that's pretty good.
the average wage in the UK with stuff is like 18,000 a year. So they're doing a lot better than the average working class person.
Yes,
And that's today. That's not corrected for inflation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
still a lot.
but back then they're getting 30,000, which is a lot more than what you get now, even without the inflation.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
This man is stupid. Moving on.
Yeah.
Along with him.
Notice how the last one that
Jerry Siegel was awarded many accolades,
he is
such as
he just
a
thinks
19
it's proven.
like, no.
Sorry.
No, it's like, notice how that last one had the DC logo over Batman.
Yeah.
Bit of a subtext there.
Well, everyone's always excited usually over a new Batman movie or a new Batman whatever. So
Yeah.
it seems
Yeah,
to
Batman is definitely bigger than Superman right now.
Yeah, it seems to endure a little better. The interpretations of Superman, the risks they take with Superman don't seem to pan out too well. So,
not usually.
Yeah,
No.
the death of Superman was the only big thing that I really remember that really resonated. And after,
30th anniversary this year.
Yeah, but nothing really stuck. Like after that, like there were some good comics, obviously, but other than that, nothing really resonated as well as the Batman stuff does.
Yeah.
So,
All-Star Superman.
No,
Well,
but nothing
That was
really-
much later, but yes.
Yeah, but still, it's just
Also,
like,
isn't All-Star Superman ultimately an NAU story? Or is it canon?
I don't know. All I know is when it comes down to it, it's like Superman's got certain things, but Batman is literally DC now. Just so much more iconic stuff.
Batman is the entire company. Okay.
Well, when you think about it,
Well, it's because with Batman you can make a somewhat more believable movie.
yeah.
It's hard to write. It is hard to write a good Superman story, especially a good Superman movie. And I haven't seen it done, honestly.
I don't know. Man of Bread was interesting. I'm joking. I'm completely being
Man
fucking
of
sarcastic
Potato.
there.
Man of milk toast.
H of bread.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
the if you want to make a good Superman movie, you have to focus on everything that is not his powers.
You have to focus on the
You
man.
have to go to space opera, galactic threat, and not spend your time on Earth.
That's not necessarily true either.
It
There are
depends
plenty of
on.
threats on.
You put it into a 2 or 3 hour movie. It's gonna
There are plenty of Earthbound threats that could.
Yeah, it depends if you want to
challenge
take the classic science fiction literary style of alien worlds and very large concepts and big enemies, or do you want to bring it down to earth and focus on the psychology and the person and the relationships, which is usually when we think of Superman. It's a very simpler story.
Yes, the best material to come out. The best material to come out of Superman is when they focus on the man.
Okay, I admit I'm just bored and everything that they never go off Earth in a bold manner. It always has. So we need something relatable. So we need to do things on Earth with boring people.
Okay.
Same with 4.
Here is.
It always pissed me off. Like, dude, get out there. It's why I really love Guardians of the Galaxy. They went away from this. Let's do everything on fucking Earth.
All right, here is.
You have a whole galaxy to explore.
Here is Gasoline Drinker. There is no property rights in socialism, so a socialist government would have screwed Schuster worse than what DC did to him. F this brainlet. He has no father figure. I'm just concerned that these people make these titles and then they change the titles and they keep the thumbnails or they change the thumbnails. You're like, what is your premise again? Do you want to say that everything is socialism?
Capitalism bad because 2 guys signed a poor contract and couldn't see the future.
Is
2 Jews were bad at making money.
Yeah, property rights, contract rights, like this.
2 Jews couldn't Jew. That's about it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're almost done.
Also, another big difference between Superman and Batman in terms of popularity. What's Superman's most notable video game? 64. What's Batman's? Arkham.
Yeah.
That's a big divide right there.
Yeah.
That just means that people do not have the brain power to realize what it takes to make a good Superman game.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
I would say even with the Telltale, was it Telltale who did the Batman?
Yes.
Yes.
It was
Like
Telltale,
almost more than half of the entire gaming industry has done something Batman related.
Right, and that's
was
an adventure game.
Hell, Shadow of Mordor was almost a Batman game in and of itself.
Yeah.
Shadow of Batman.
well, Batman.
I'm not even kidding.
It was planned as a Batman game.
It was they were originally tasked to make a Batman game that tied in the Dark Knight Rises, but the reason why it didn't exist that way was because they needed Nolan's permission. He said, for one reason or another, he said no, and then they reconfigured it into a Middle Earth game.
Dude, I think that whole villain concept with the moving up ranks and up getting stronger after having beaten you somehow, that would fit a Batman game really well.
Yes, the Nemesis system. And for good or bad, Warner WB for better or for worse, WB has the only patent for the Nemesis system, and in my opinion, they're wasting it on Wonder Woman.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you know the Wonder Woman game that got announced recently. That's gonna have the Nemesis system.
Oh, Wonder Woman game got announced recently.
Yes.
Wait, hang on. There's a woman.
Wait. But that implies that Wonder Woman, the woman can be beaten.
Well, no, it means that she has mind control powers or something.
Hold on. People have been complaining about Superman. We can't make a Superman game because Superman is too powerful. How are we going to do that? But let's make Wonder Woman, the literal daughter of Zeus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Bears, listen. Wonder Woman.
I know,
breasts,
Wonder Woman's got
end
a
of story.
cleavage. I know.
All right.
Boobas. Big boobas.
Let's
I
keep
wanna
going.
ask a question.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
Saints-
let's get going.
Is Saints Row 4 a better Superman game?
What?
No.
What?
Saints Row 4
Wait,
is not a good Saints
Crackdown,
Row
maybe?
game.
Can you
Crackdown, I guess.
can you
I don't
fly
know.
around with a giant flagpole shaped like a dildo?
Kinda, yes.
Okay.
You get fucked over for your license.
You fly around on a giant dildo. Ah, yes, truth, justice, and the American way, all in one scene.
God.
Okay.
Is it-
Good enough.
The
it a
embodiment of the
bird?
American dream.
That is good enough for me. You've made a
Is
purchase.
it a bird? Is it a plane? Oh no, it's a giant dildo. Oh dear.
It's super dildo.
Oh boy. Anyway, back to whatever the hell this guy's talking about.
Two sad
Nothing.
Jews.
A Hugo Award in 1979, an Eisner in 1992, and he was inducted into the Jack Kirby Hall of Fame in 1993.
Why does Eisner have the same signature as
He
Disney?
died on January 28th,
It's just the
1996, of a heart attack after suffering
How
from
is a
cardiac
signature a
disease
font?
for years.
Wisp, you're talking over
That's
it. You're talking over someone dying.
That's the Disney font.
Well,
whatever.
you know, these awards, when you're talking about science fiction or literary awards past the 60s, a lot of these awards are just not worth it. They don't have much weight. There's a lot of, not corruption, but the taste and the value of intelligence of these award organizations.
They're
are just-
nothing. They are nothing. Melt them down.
Wait, where is it? My girlfriend's been watching a few things on Netflix, and she started watching, a show called, Emily in Paris. And that show is actually the reason why the Golden Globes has been cancelled. Because they can't.
Okay.
The producers of the show bribed the judges of the Golden Globes so much that there was actually an investigation, and they found intense corruption within the Golden Globes, and so they've cancelled the Golden Globes
I
due to
could
the
have told
corruption.
him that.
Forever.
In a Hollywood award
Yeah.
ceremony?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I know. Yes.
I am appalled.
Yeah, I know, but what I found so funny is it's literally the show that my girlfriend just said, "Oh, I'm watching it." I'm like, "Oof, yeah." Oh,
was
oh
it
dear.
any good?
If I were in your shoes, I would just turn the TV off and right in their face.
It's incredibly bad. It's about an American woman who goes to Paris and she can't speak French, but she's amazing and wonderful, and the French people love her.
Jesus.
Wait.
Okay,
Is she the
big
girl? Is
fucking
she the
extra
girl?
doubt.
Is she the girl from I'm Not Starfire? Because she wanted to go to France.
No. She's the girl who wanted to chase that boyfriend she had a fling with when she was 16. They didn't actually go out. They just sort of looked at each other across the hall, and then she was decided to drop everything and go to France.
But there is actually one funny thing. Because she never learns to speak French or even bothers to try and learn it, she tries to write a letter to this person she's screwed over, apologising. Well, because she can't do anything in French, it comes across as illiterate, and the person's response is, "Stay away from me, you illiterate psychopath."
You idiot.
Good reply. Because she just proves she's a bad immigrant, not respecting the local culture.
You
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, but that's like, it's like 2 seasons in and she doesn't know how to speak French, and you're like, really? And it's like, no, she's not learning. And people call her out, but she goes, "Oh well, I'm trying," and it's a bit like,
No, you're not.
2 years in a foreign country, you don't know even some basic sentences. I don't know.
But she has slept with every single guy that moves, including a 17.
Fucking whore.
Yeah.
You've got to root for her.
Like,
But
implying it's
no.
hard for one, a woman to get laid, two, a woman to get laid by a French man.
That's
and they
one
also-
hell of a bad role model.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's all alright because all the other people are all cheating on each other, and it's like even the French media are like, "Listen, we like love, but we don't all cheat on each other. We do actually respect marriage.
Well, it means
We're
there
not
are
all-
some good elements in that show.
We're not all whores."
What
Don't watch it.
What I love about this current frame we're on is this little statue here with the books. Jerry Siegel, creator, writer of G.I. Joe, etc. Etc.
Superman's and etc. Okay.
The etc. kind of takes a little bit of the gravitas out of it, I think.
All right. Anyway.
Fun man, the Spectre, Superboy, Superman, Doctor Occult. What's that?
You could have put another book on there and put on it and more. It would have looked better than G.I. Joe, etc.
I want to know what Spy Robot Man is.
It sounds great.
And I have this weird feeling that Schuster and that Schuster and Siegel's Superboy is actually Superboy Prime. I don't fucking know. Can someone in the chat confirm that?
What now?
No, we're not. We're not all nerds.
Kingman, what did you just?
I mean, if someone can confirm as to whether or not Siegel and Schuster's Superboy is Superboy Prime.
Probably not.
Probably not.
We're not.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just carry on. Anyway, this guy died. Anyway.
Years. Posthumously, Siegel was given the Bill Finger Award for Excellence in Comic Book Writing in 2005. In 2009, a street in Ohio was renamed in his honor. Jerry Siegel remained married to his co-creator's original Lois Lane model, Joanne, until his death. Joe Schuster, too, was awarded many times within the comic book industry, receiving his own Eisner and Hugo prizes.
That's great.
As well as his rightful place in the Jack Kirby Hall of Fame.
Man,
He died
I would
on
love
July
to
30th,
get to Superman at some
1992
point.
of congestive heart failure and hypertension.
Hypertension sucks.
At the beginning, Superman was very much a socialist.
Hold the fucking phone.
Okay, this is what I was waiting for. If you guys don't know Grant Morrison, Grant Morrison's a really crazy writer. He wrote All Star, and then he wrote this omnibus sort of thing where there's all these other stories which were just weird. And this is a guy who's on drugs half the time. This is where he gets.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. I just wanted to I was trying to not interrupt you until you said drugs because, look at him. He looks crazy. Of course, he writes crazy shit.
Yeah, no, that's what makes him good. Like he has these crazy ideas and he writes them out, and it's like, all right, that's working for you, but sometimes it comes out bad. So it is a mixed bag.
I like the fact that there are no monsters or robots. I'm like, okay. I'm just reading
this. Looks like Joe Rogan's evil twin.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Superman was very much a socialist superhero. He fought for the unemployed. No, he didn't. The oppressed. Yes.
Yeah, that's two things socialists don't actually do. They just.
So he beat up wife beaters.
Socialists are wife beaters.
Wait, Wes. Oh, a communist wife beater was shot last year in a riot.
Yeah. For one. Then we know about all these male feminists who turn out to be rapists or pedophiles, and then North Korea has a giant wife beater problem because it's so destitute in socialism that people start getting alcohol problems, and that usually leads to domestic violence. So socialism. You're creating these problems. You're not fighting against them. You're just adorning yourself with the feathers of others.
The North Koreans can't afford the capitalist,
actual the best
heavy bags, so they have to use their wives instead.
But the best thing about this is Grant Morrison, someone who didn't make Superman, right? Saying this. Not the two people who made it.
This is fairly tame, what he's talking about. So it's
still a stupid take.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is why is it that when the people who make it say this is not the thing, but some random person says the thing that you agree with?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to start with.
This is a guy much later in the mythos of Superman makes his own ideas.
Yeah. Who, as you've said, is off his head on drugs most of the time. It's like, okay. No offense, but Frank Miller can say a lot of things. He's a nut job. Alan Moore is a nut job. He says a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy down the street who wears his pants around his ankles and yells into the sky says a lot of things. I don't listen to what he says.
I mean, you already said Alan Moore. I don't know why you had to repeat yourself, Hawk.
Yeah.
Reminder that that Grant Morrison is also the same person that I think it was him that. Or hold on. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to say something wrong. Never mind.
Okay. No worries. Let's keep on going.
I stopped myself in time.
All right.
That's great.
Superhero. He fought for the unemployed, the oppressed. He beat up wife beaters. It's about a man driven by a burning sense of injustice. There are no monsters or robots. He fights against corrupt council officials. He was
Also
conceived
socialist.
as a depression.
And then he later fought against
dealt with the
evil
problems
robots.
of ordinary people.
Yeah, who caused the depression again? Was it right-leaning ideologies and inactions and government? No, it was the Federal Reserve and left-leaning
Who's been
ideology.
consistently genociding the gays? Who's been exploiting people with medical issues all the time? It's socialists.
Yeah, guys.
I also love the idea that council officials are right wing now.
It sounds as if Superman wants to protect.
Who's causing the new HIV epidemic in California?
Oh, really?
Socialists.
Gavin Newsom.
No, yeah, socialists.
Well,
because they legalized to secretly and intentionally give people HIV.
Well,
not telling them that you were HIV positive and having unprotected sex with them without telling them. And then months later, the socialists complained of, there's a sudden HIV epidemic. This is why homophobia and white supremacy is to blame.
Well, in regards
Fucking
to
hell.
Depression era, if he's talking about the 30s and 40s of America, we're talking about, was it Teddy Roosevelt? The New Deal. Franklin Roosevelt, the New Deal, all brought about by spending your way out of a depression, the crash of after the 20s from the bubble made by the Federal Reserve. These are all banking problems. These are all big government problems. And the solution to that is capitalism. It's not more socialism. That's ridiculous. So this is very well documented. Look at Murray Rothbard's take of the Great Depression, why it came to be, and all the examples he's shown. This is not some mathematically impossible thing. We still have booms and busts as a result of the Federal Reserve. So,
and the Fed.
Anyway, I don't mind him talking about, he's a man of the people. He's a man with conservative values protecting people from crazy others.
People.
From people taking advantage of others, from criminals.
Yeah.
He's a glorified Boy Scout with a bit of
I forget that criminals are right wing. I mean, I must have
that most
not.
of them are leftists, but okay.
I would know the fact for the last 12 months, all the crazy stuff has been done by left wing criminals. But let's just say they're all right wing or whatever.
All right, here is Giga Chat again. Hey, thanks. This was a clickbaity as hell title. This is Schuster's working class background, not Superman's. This is like me titling a video, titling a video. Bilbo Baggins, World War I, 3-hour tree starring background.
Yeah,
it's like National Socialism's painting origins.
Yeah.
How college created Hitler.
Yeah. Oh.
That's great.
I blame the entire acrylic industry for not being attractive enough to baby Hitler.
I mean, you have a point.
I need to retract mine because that's actually closer to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least giving out more apologetics.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
The canonical story of Superman is one that's
What?
well
You did-
known
what-
and
what-
beloved by just...
That was it? You just quoted Grant Morrison, the drug addict, and then just changed topics?
Yes, Smud. Smud. This is what they do.
He's got all the evidence he needs.
So the guy hopped up on LSD, goes, "Oh yeah, Superman is totally a socialist superhero." By the way, here's a picture of the first episode from 1939. Like, what does that have anything to do with Grant Morrison?
What's it got anything to do with socialism? Some drughead
What
says...
socialist hero goes around beating up people? Like, from criminals or whatever. Like, what?
Oh no, if you just said what socialist hero goes around beating up people, all of them. They just enjoy beating up people. I don't tons of them. What goes up beating up criminals? No, they don't beat up themselves.
Here's a writer who said something about Superman being socialist anyway. It's like, what? No, where'd that come from?
Anyway, moving swiftly on. No.
Don't think about it for too long. Let's move to the next point.
Oh God.
Yeah. Move to the next transition scene.
But the real life story of his creators, their hardships, their hard work, and their near erasure from history is one that I think we as a society should.
Socialism is a lot about erasing people from history. That is true.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's almost it's a traditional sport.
Yeah.
You see, if he started this thing talking about Red Sun, I'd be like, "Oh, this is interesting. I like Red Sun." And he'd go into like the nuance of the world that Clark was in when he landed or whatever, like all this wonderful detail. And then he said, "Well, that's not what really happened." And then he's like, "Oh," and he changed topics to like Schuster's life. Like, okay, Schuster's life, whatever, but it still had nothing to do with the topic. I need to like connect with something related to the topic. You can't just throw me. People in America were hard workers, but they didn't get enough pay for what they were doing. It's like, I agree. That's how it was.
Yes, people who are just out of a depression
exactly
don't get enough money. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that scintillating revelation there.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that it's like people realised they weren't being paid enough money, so they striked and fought for more rights.
Which is what Siegel and Schuster should have done, but did not.
Yeah, which you can do in a capitalist nation. You can't do that in a socialist nation because, well, you get shot by the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the government will say, "No, you're perfectly well paid."
Yeah. Everyone's paid the same.
Except for the dear leader.
They say as they hold a clock swinging in front of your face.
You're just greedy and therefore a parasite to the system. We need to do away with you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Here's Giga Chad one more time.
This is the way.
Good God, this hipster-ass guitar playing in the background makes me wonder what a buckshot tastes like. Also, he has a Bosch haircut, so I hate him. I hate him more.
What a mugshot tastes like?
Buckshot.
But
did I say mugshot? Yeah. I'm so sorry.
yeah. I'm just like, what the hell?
What a mugshot tastes like? I don't know, ink. I don't know.
Paper.
Fiber.
Oh boy. Anyway, I want to see what he has to say. This is going nowhere.
Keep in mind, these early stories were rooted in doing the right thing for the common citizen, for the working class.
Yes.
Not just fighting evil space gods and billionaires in bat suits.
That's fine.
As terrific as those fantastical stories
that wasn't in the golden age anyway.
I love it. I love when Superman's fighting Darkseid and stuff. That's great. I think that
Darkseid didn't exist in the golden age.
There are still stories.
If we're going to talk, pause the video.
Those stories are still for the same people because they inspire. It doesn't matter whether you're fighting against the corrupt socialist slumlord or Darkseid. The relevant point is there's someone standing up to it, against it. And standing up for the right thing. Something that you socialists have real trouble figuring out which the right thing is. Because you always stand on the wrong side of history. Every fucking time. No matter how hard you repeat to yourself that you're on the right side of history, you're always on the wrong one.
All right.
Still stories here and there that tap into those roots, such as Superman Smashes the Klan by Gene Luen Yang. But this story is out of canon.
Are you fucking being serious here?
Because it's fucking badly written.
Are you really? Superman smashes the Klan.
How did we get from talking about Schuster to random topics of random comics?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Superman smashes the Klan or whatever. Yeah, I agree. Superman should destroy the Democrat Party. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that.
You want to talk about canon? How about the fact that the Golden Age isn't even canon anymore?
Yeah. Never ever bring up the KKK in regards to right and left wing, because it's just such a. It's ridiculous.
It's like homies saying that the Nazis were right wing.
You mentioned the KKK. There's actually a Superman radio drama about that.
Yeah, and that was actually good.
It was, yeah. And funny.
That is what had some impact in society. This is what actually damaged the Klan. While this bullshit, this just ideological fapping does nothing.
Yeah, it's like a history lesson plus I think he's socialist plus here's a guy who thinks he's socialist too, and I like reading comics. It's like, dude, can you make a point in that?
He literally had one quote from a writer.
The only point is on the top of this dude's head.
Mm-hmm.
And you think he's found some great, bit of data that no one has thought about. Oh, he's really a socialist here. I was like, no, there's no evidence. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Grant Morrison says he's a socialist. Yeah, but Grant Morrison also said that the trees are talking to him as well at one point. So,
Grant Morrison has no right to decide what Superman is. He's writing him for a time, but he's not his creator.
Right. Yeah, this is what always gets me. It's like, oh, this random person says this thing. It's like, yeah. I'm just like
it's like with Lovecraft. Lovecraft has made the very core of the Cthulhu mythos, and then there were people expanding on it. Some of that stuff is good, some of that stuff is bullshit.
Yeah.
Now there is as I said, Grant Morrison has an omnibus where he depicts Superman in a blue collar sort of outfit, like jeans and a t-shirt. It's an alternate Earth version of Superman. So if he referenced that, then it's like, oh, okay, here is the Grant Morrison version of the socialist Superman or whatever. But he didn't do that. So why even quote the guy?
Yeah. Why quote a random person just halfway through your video?
Yeah, it's like Christopher Nolan thinks Batman is dark and gritty. By the way, here's the Schumacher version of Batman I love, and he's all colorful and goofy and whatever.
I do love seeing nipples on a man.
My friend Jim once said.
My friend Keith once said, "Give me some crack," and I just thought, yeah, socialism.
And I just thought, hey, you must know Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you about my buddy Keith?
Yeah. My friend Keith.
Anyway.
My friend Keith
is out of canon, and stories like this are few and far between.
There it is. There it is.
Grant Morrison applied the original socialist angle to Superman during their run, bringing the
original socialist angle. So it has nothing to do with the creator. It has been that you are admitting right now that Superman was hijacked by socialist infiltration and turned into a propaganda vehicle by the very ideology he in the 40s stood against. Wonderful. You bloody asshole.
Let me rewind that.
So,
you disgusting piece of shit.
I agree.
You culture creep.
I agree. We should beat him up.
Superman Smashes the Klan by Gene Luen Yang.
Oh,
but this story is out of canon, and stories like this are few and far between. Grant Morrison applied the original socialist angle to Superman during their run, bringing the hero back down to
Grant
the street
Morrison,
to a less godlike status.
Did he just use a plural pronoun because
series.
he doesn't know Grant Morrison's pronouns? Fucking retard.
He either meant that or the number of writers. I saw 4 writers on that thing.
But he only said Grant Morrison.
I know.
Yeah, well, but
Socialists are destroying grammar. constantly.
Yeah, but
like normal
is
people
this
who are
a
not on board
Photoshop
with this
face?
SJW bullshit, they are fucking up pronouns
The size of
in
that
general,
chin.
and are fucking up singular and plural. And it's just is everyone forgetting how English works, for fuck's sake?
Oh, Wish, I'm so sorry. You're making some good points, but I'm just laughing at the guy's huge chin. There's just nothing you can do about it.
The nega chin?
Oh god, Hawk. See, this is a problem of the Angles and Saxons. Do not come to northern Germany, because this is where this comes from, where the mouth is too close to the nose and you have this giant chin. Imagine women looking like that, because I know some who look like that.
They have beards.
Maybe on their teeth. I'm not
All
so
right.
sure.
Anyway,
They wear chains around their necks. God, those bastards.
Let's keep going.
Superman, son of Kal-El, which places Clark's son John as the central character, only has one issue out as of this writing.
Yeah,
But that
it's
issue
terrible.
was so strong and touched on the themes of this video so well.
God, I hate this art style.
The comic book touched on the themes of the video.
I hate this art style. It is so fucking ugly. It's
So you know
distorted. Like what the hell is wrong with his right arm there in the left panel? What the hell? What is wrong with these faces? They look like mutants with Down syndrome.
What kind of mask is Rob? Is that Robin? Like, what is?
That's supposed to be Damien.
Are you what? How does that cover his face? It's just like a bunch of squares on his face.
Yeah, the art style in this is terrible. Also, this is not Superman. This is gay Superman.
Yeah, but
also, what is with his foot?
I don't know. But
I'm telling you, these people can't actually draw. They stopped like somewhere at 20% learning to draw, and then they just started making random lines.
I will say that Bears was right, because he's now saying this comic book has the theme of this video. It's like, what? So your video is just a massive faggot?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. Here's Adolf Klittler. Thank you, Adolf Klittler. That's very nice of you.
I love that name.
If you ignore the more modern socialist astroturfing of Superman, you could probably classify Superman as a small government kind of person. Hell, he brought starving Africans farming supplies instead of food so they could learn to feed themselves.
Like, why do you think libertarian me loves Superman so much?
That sounds like what something
people
Superman
drop
would
a
do.
first sketch and never correct anything.
Yeah, it looks like Superman's
They're so
flying.
lazy.
Like Superman's
And
flying
then
in
they
the
wonder
air.
why manga outsells them. Simply on the art style and the attention to detail, manga outsells them.
Well, there's
a single manga.
There is manga where the legs and arms are a little elongated or stretched or flattened or whatever. That's it's
but those are then still consistent styles where even that anatomy has consistency. This here is just sloppy crap.
I think the shading is just throwing me off with the lighting. I know that lighting is probably done in Photoshop to give it that like the legs of Superman and the legs of Mr. Next Batman or Robin or Damien rather. Something is off about the perspective. I don't know. It just looks like they're flying in the air. I don't know. The look at
they're skipping gaily.
Look at the
enemies.
look at the end of the staircase. It has this sharp drop, and I'm like, what the? And then it just falls. The sky, or rather, the ground just keeps falling.
Well, it's kind of like going
it's like
against
bad
like the
storyboarding.
straight designs, yeah.
It's like bad
the fundamentals.
storyboards.
It's
a lot of
strange.
straight lines.
No,
Everything just looks like straight lines. Even the curves look straight. Which for a progressive thing, they seem to have a addiction to straight lines.
It wants to be straight, but it just can't form itself. It's just
Like-
an amalgamation of madness.
Like you would see, like with the legs, Superman's right leg, or what we see, his left leg, should have an outline hitting light because there's a shadow. There's a shadow.
How long is his like thigh? Because like the bend of the leg going backwards. Look where his knee is.
Yeah, I know. The knee just sort of expands. Like his thigh is like twice the length of his other thigh.
It's a new superpower.
Yeah, just Gumby.
It's like
they're just scribbling shit while they're on drugs.
Yeah.
No wonder
Everything's
Grant
off.
Morrison.
Also, how short is his arm that's
disgustingly
holding the phone device thing? Also, where's his hand that's holding it? What's happening? What's happening with the hands? And
yeah, it's confusing. Anyway, let's just keep going.
where's Superman? Where's one of Superman's arms?
People get paid for
his
this.
His hand looks like a mitten.
He's got one full arm. Where's the other arm? He's only got one arm in that panel.
His hand is in the other panel. Look,
bro. This is about as embarrassing as people who can't draw hands, who always put their characters' hands in pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, what did you say?
I say a lot of shit, Wisp.
I'm just seeing Superman's left hand. It looks like it's missing fingers.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
Probably lost him with some guy's asshole.
no, the rest of his fingers are behind him.
All right. Anyway, we don't like the art. It looks weird. The lighting's off. The shading's off. Perspective's off.
Bad. Fire these people.
Yeah. Anyway.
They won't.
I don't believe any of these people ever went to art school.
They won't.
People who didn't. I know people who didn't.
They went to the same art school as Adolf Hitler.
Oh, that's
probably.
Stop.
No, because that art school rejected Hitler.
Ooh.
They dropped out at the same time as Adolf Hitler.
They had class.
They had perspective.
Okay.
All right, let's just follow it.
Another parallel between Hitler and these socialists. Both don't know perspective.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
I'll take that. Let's go.
I delayed the video so I could add this section.
1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. Great. Good job. Anatomy. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where's the?
Yes.
Where's the?
What?
What?
Play. Just press play.
Is this like The Simpsons? They have yellow skin and everyone has 4 fingers. Is that kind of the thing? I don't know.
Ooh.
This is not a Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
In the book, John Kent is trying to find his own way as Superman, while maintaining the legacy that his father had established. The issue hints at John looking to these original themes as his approach to being a different Man of Steel. Rather than truth, justice, and the American way, John adopts the slogan, truth, justice, and for a better world. I'm anxious to see how John's path...
It was such a shit saying, the guy got a nosebleed.
Yeah.
Bro, that's retarded. You give me a nosebleed.
Here's Giga Chad one more time.
Honestly, this is the hubris of socialists. That they think they know what makes a better world when they don't even understand how the world works, what it is, what it looks like, and they reject reality checks as attacks on their personality.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not going to be told what's a better world from a bunch of people.
I'm not going to be taught about what's making it a better world by a character who marches for climate change, who can fix climate change in 3 sequels with his superpowers.
Yeah.
Who's a giant squid monster in the back.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say a giant fucking. Okay, so the squid. It's either that fucking comic cover is either 2 different superheroes ignoring a fucking kraken killing people and polluting the ocean, or one of those superheroes, specifically gay Aquaman, called the kraken in to kill people and pollute the ocean so that he could march for climate change, and gay Superman is just doing fuck all about it. Great.
What if gay Superman is actually the villain of that comic?
Oh.
I hope so.
The twist.
Well, it always reads like that. When SJWs write heroes, they always read like villains.
He was gay all
you
along.
mean like the X-Men that stabbed a guy in the neck because he works for the company that put a plastic bag in the ocean that choked the sea turtle to death?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
We have 2 super chats.
There's no remorse about it.
Or sorry, 2 donations, rather, from Giga Chad. Here's the first one. Looking at Damien's mask right now, I'm wondering why someone doesn't see him and say, hey, that looks like Bruce Wayne, but shorter and more tan. Doesn't he have a son who matches that description? He wears an eye-covering mask and a hood for a reason. Yeah, the mask does nothing, sir.
The goggles, they do nothing.
They do nothing. It's just...
They do nothing without the white lenses.
I mean, Sailor Moon at least explains that there's a magic spell that makes them look different to other people. What the fuck is this?
My dude, even Tuxedo Mask had the right idea with the mask.
Yeah.
What's Damien's excuse?
Yeah, but this is like even girls who get like panda eyes on a night out have got a better disguise than like what Damien's got. You might as well just have tattoos on his forehead. I'm Damien Wayne.
All right, here's the last one from Giga Chad. If Damien was in character here, he'd hear John and go, say, that quasi-socialist dog my friend is saying sounds a lot like what my genocidal terrorist granddad spouts, and he'd reach for kryptonite.
No, Damien Wayne would go like, pretty gay faggot, and then just like stab him.
Yeah, Damien would already made it.
Unfortunately, Damian Wayne is all for Superman... gay Superman.
Oh, really?
Like fucking or getting butt fucked by pink-haired Asian kid.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay. Anyway, 3 minutes left, or 2 minutes left.
Path is carved. Maybe he can become the working class hero his dad once was.
Okay.
I don't believe that the cosmic epic battles need to be done away with entirely.
Real quick. Remember one of the lines from good old an actual lefty superhero, Green Arrow. He looked at Batman in the Justice League Unlimited, cartoon. He says, "Listen, I'm not gonna be up there in the Watchtower with all this shit. I'm here for the little guy." And Batman's response was, those big giant monsters you don't fight, they tend to step on the little guys.
And that was literally in the first fucking episode.
Yes. So you don't trivialize the shit that Superman has to fight, right? Just because he's progressed from fighting slumlords to trying to prevent people from destroying the universe, doesn't mean that Superman's not helping the little guy, because guess what? If the universe is destroyed, then the little guy, every little guy in the universe is going to die along with it. Superman will probably be fine, though.
Yeah, in a way that he understands. Superman is fighting the slumlords of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could describe Apocalypse as that.
Yeah.
And Darkseid as that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just loving the fact that out of all this with socialism, he's brought up drughead Grant Morrison and faggot Superboy. It's like, oh, good defense. Please never become a lawyer, because a lot of your clients are going to get the chair. So he's literally brought up SJW propaganda and Grant Morrison. Like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yep.
Do what all good SJWs should do. Kill
I do
yourself.
think I'd be more drawn to Superman if they put more effort into reflecting those early humanist adventures, fighting corrupt systems and exploitative authoritarians.
Such as?
Well, just
the ultimate authoritarian, Darkseid.
Yeah.
The guy that wants to find the anti-life equation so that he can make every sentient being in the multiverse subservient to him.
Xi Jinping?
The perfect socialist.
Yes.
That's why he doesn't like it. The thing is, what he wants is just the adventures of Joseph Stalin. That's it. And you're like, well, just read history. You've got 30 odd years of it. So.
See what adventures old Joe got up to back in the day.
We're going down to Ukraine. Have a root and toot and shoot and tie.
Going down. Like, hey, we need some potatoes. I wonder where we can get them from.
All right, so I guess totalitarian regimes in 1930s New York or whatever. That's what he wants. It's like, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to fighting 1930s totalitarianism. Yes. Anyway, so the Soviet Union. No, not that one. Okay, the Nazis who are National Socialists. No, not that one. I'm starting at the Italian fascists. No, not that one. I'm starting to run out of,
the slumlords of New York. Like what?
I meant the right wing ones, like the KKK. You mean the ones?
The right wing ones looks at a fucking road with a tumbleweed.
The Postal Service. You
mean the Postal Service that's run by the government?
Yeah.
With the Cardassians?
All right.
And I kind of suspect that it would resonate with a lot of people these days.
No, it wouldn't, because it'd be written terribly and sell no comic books. Just like the comic books that are being written now are not.
Yeah, they are literally pandering to the people you want it to pander to.
Yeah,
and they're selling badly.
The dying franchise that is comic books have been getting worse and worse stories, and this guy wants another bad story. It'll resonate with a lot of. It's like no. You have to go back to what made it good in the first place.
Put all this propaganda into the comics, and they're selling so bad.
Yeah.
I guess we need to put more propaganda into them.
What a great idea!
But not even the crap in the 90s was as bad as the shit now.
And it was pretty bad.
Nobody's buying our socialist propaganda. You know what we need to do? Yeah, put more socialist propaganda.
I remember Superman Blue.
I never ever thought I'd say this, but I'd rather watch an Uwe Boll movie than anything social justice warriors made.
I'd rather read Youngblood than Gay Superman.
So honestly, I'd rather get my testicles trapped in a revolving door than read anything that SJWs make. So,
Bears, you can at least agree that even things like Youngblood or Cry for Justice are better than the shit now.
It's gay for justice. Come on now.
Well, now.
Right.
Increasingly see our power drained from us as if we're buried in kryptonite.
What?
Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster, first-generation working-class Americans, followed the instruction manual for the American dream to the letter.
No, they didn't. They didn't read the fucking contract, you idiot!
They signed away the rights.
Yes.
Read the fucking manual.
Like, they didn't read the fucking contract, or they didn't understand it. They didn't understand what they meant by "we own everything about this." If you sign your name to this, we own everything about this thing you're selling us. Do you want to continue? Click yes, no.
When you operate in the adult world, you need to stop being naive. In signing a contract you haven't read or understood, because the guy handing you the contract with the little devil horns on his head is telling you, "Oh, it's fine. It's just standard procedure. Just sign there."
Yeah, how do you think Stan Lee became?
That's you being an idiot. That's you being exploited, or because of your own failure. That's on you. Yeah, that guy's a scum. That guy's a scumfuck who hands you that contract and tells you, "Oh, it's fine." But it's on you to not trust him. Bloody hell! What do you think? These stories with the these fantasy stories with devils that we make contracts with, and there's always a catch. There's always a catch in the contract. That's why you should read the fucking contract. That's why it's when we had this stuff in our Dungeons and Dragons Pathfinder group, and we came across some devils that where we were supposed to make contracts with in order to have their support to fight some demons. It turned out they really hated that we wanted to read the entire fucking contract. There was like this cartoonishly large stack of papers. And we stayed there for a week reading the entire fucking contract. And the devils were just like, "Oh god, they really do reading it. Oh god.
I bet those devils
that's
were
just
like
in a game.
Germans.
Yes.
God.
We were arguing with the game master of what's in the contract. We wanted to make sure that these guys are not going to screw us over. German role-playing. Beautiful.
Jim role playing. It's just 14 hours of reading.
Oh,
Small
bloody hell,
prints.
you have no idea. We had entire city sieges and stuff that we played out.
What we just like sat there doing the accountant.
We made up the armies and the rules, and then played out the bloody like a mini game that's not in the books.
We called it Hitler's an idiot.
In the end, no, fantasy stuff. But in the end, I would even say I think the rules were at least on par, if not better, than the 40k shit.
Okay. Anyway, let's keep going.
Perseverance
Isn't that hard?
and loyalty to the industry that they chose and loved. They pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, or in this case, their iconic red booties. They never wavered or faltered in their goal.
That picture didn't even have the red booties.
A handout, but they deserved a much greater.
They never expected a handout. He said
considering-
earlier that he begged his parents for money so he could buy paper. That's a handout.
Oh,
I'm getting
Their
kind
work was
of
the-
tired of this, actually. Just keep
It's almost over.
Foundation for DC Comics and everything to come after.
No,
In the comics
they
industry-
didn't build a foundation for DC Comics because the company was already there. It was called Detective Comics Incorporated.
National Comics, yeah.
They just handed them a golden cow.
Yes, he handed them the fucking goose that laid the golden egg for $20 and a bag of chips.
Really good.
And it's supposedly the company's fault for accepting the offer.
The best thing about this at all is the fact they went, "Oh, Superman made it," and then it's like, "Yeah, but what about Batman?" And he's like, "Oh," and you're like,
It's the company's fault for being a business that makes money.
It's like all they did was put the contract in. Of course, the contract is a lowball because you're supposed to fucking haggle.
You know what I think is so funny is, like, they did all that with Superman, but it came to like Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and they went, like, let's not do what those two Jews did. Let's actually haggle.
I was gonna say it's especially sad that they didn't haggle because they're Jews. It's in their nature.
Like the fucking mom probably disowned them.
This is the moment where you should live the stereotype for your own good.
That's the penny pincher. It's in the Jewish nature to penny pinch, and these two didn't.
It's in one of the old drawings of the two. Like they had somebody drew them with these giant noses.
Yeah, I'm just.
Am I just seeing this, or is it what the fuck?
All I know is it's just like
disgraceful Jews.
It's just like
people still had humor.
Yeah, but he's making out that the only reason Detective Comics exists is because of Superman. It's like there's literally the elephant in the room is like the guy with the bat costume. He's like, really?
Hey,
the guy in the bat costume.
Look,
the guy in the bat costume and the chick that likes to have her hands tied behind her and get spanked. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, Batman is a ninja. You don't see him. That's why he forgot about him.
About bears?
Wonder Woman. Yes, Ginga. Her weakness when she was introduced was that if a man ties her hands behind her back, she's completely powerless.
Please no, because
every other episode was some villain managing to put Wonder Woman over their knee and spanking her. I'm not kidding.
Please don't bring that up, because I do also remember that when Golden Age Wonder Woman died in Crisis on Infinite Earth, she ascended to the heavens with the gods. I'm just like, that just counterbalances that.
Yeah, she's probably going up to get spanked by her dad.
Yeah, Bert, can I ask you something? Do you have any like evidence of this? I'd like to see it for research purposes.
Anyway, let's continue.
Itself, this issue remains a prominent one. With the release of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, former Captain America scribe Ed Brubaker made waves by calling attention to the fact that, although he created the concept of the character Winter Soldier, Disney and Marvel have not awarded any royalties despite the just massive success the character is seen in live action
what
film
was
and
his contract?
TV. This issue of creators not being
Not
paid
gonna
commensurate
talk
to
about
the
it.
success of their creations is one that extends outside the comic book industry.
Yeah, to all of socialism, where the achievements of Nobel Prize winners in natural sciences are taken away by the state. You asshole, idiot, hypocrite, ignorant, illiterate, mongrel about history, about your own ideology. You know nothing. You live by the slogans of an advertisement poster, and you never looked what's behind that. You are an idiot. You are a useful idiot for a cult. You have never had an original thought in your entire life, and you never will, because you will always keep listening to this shit. You will never question anything. You will never question yourself, and that's why you will never grow up.
Because you are stupid.
It's because he wants to be stupid.
That's worse.
Because he's bound on he wants to believe. He doesn't want to know anything, he just wants to believe.
We just finished this video.
Does he believe in magic?
I've got a lot of better things to do than just listen to this twat anymore. Like sleep and, have sex.
Mostly the latter.
Mostly the former.
It's mostly everything.
Could you just finish this video, please?
And outside
Dear Lord.
art, it affects all of us. As the cost of living continues to skyrocket,
Because of
executive
socialistic
payouts
policies,
reach just
yes.
farcical numbers, the common person, the working class, those of us who create the value of these products, we're left behind. There is no Superman
So not
who's
you.
going to save us from
What was that? Wait.
exploitation.
What has he made aside from retarded YouTube videos that nobody watches?
Let me see that bar chart one more time.
Alienation from, the value of our labor. But if we can learn to value our own labor and see it not as, small expendable cogs in a giant machine,
Which
but
we would
as
be in socialism.
necessary components for the machine to exist in the first place.
So he wants us to be entrepreneurs? Great. I'm all for it.
Yeah, cool.
Which it is.
My God.
Maybe, just maybe, we can save ourselves and one
You're
another.
making arguments for capitalism.
I
man.
missed this bar chart. What the hell?
You need to scroll back further.
It affects all of us.
Further.
As the cost of living continues to
Yes.
skyrocket, as executive... With the release of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, former Captain America scribe
It
Ed
should be now.
Brubaker made waves by calling attention to the fact that, although he created the concept of the character Winter Soldier, Disney and Marvel have not awarded any royalties despite the just massive success the character has seen in live
Well, that's
action
just
film
greedy
and
Disney.
TV. This issue of creators not being paid commensurate to the success
Those
of
are
their
bad,
creations
racist, and
is one
idiotic
that
show.
extends outside the comic book industry and outside art. It affects all of us. As the cost of living continues to skyrocket, as executive payouts reach just farcical numbers, the common person, the working class, those of us who create the value of these products,
Okay.
we're left
Oh,
behind.
Stop it. Poverty rate.
Poverty. What the hell is this? Who wrote this?
Millions more Americans to be classified as poor in 2020. And what?
Yeah, poverty. Yeah.
Oh,
Man,
wait.
I wonder what happened in 2020. What happened in 2020 that could have possibly sent the U.S. economy into a negative spiral? I wonder what happened.
Hold on.
What the fuck if it's going down?
Yeah, but can I just say one thing about this chart? It says millions of Americans in poverty. What's 14% of a million?
Oh.
That's not 0 to 14 million. It says 14%. So, what?
140,000?
Wait a minute, a socialist is making up numbers again?
So out of 327 million Americans, 12% are in poverty, supposedly.
Yeah, but it's been going down all the time. And then
in fact, it's gone down quite a lot since 2016, since a certain person became president. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Since that incredible right-wing leader.
In 2019, look, the jump down to 2019 is really extreme.
Yeah, it's
and
almost
that's despite the entire country burning because of socialist insurrectionists.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just like the fact that this is quite clearly a made-up chart.
Yeah, I can't find these numbers.
No. The chart is not necessarily made up, but
the chart's made up.
The interpretation of why the chart is the way it is made up.
Whisp, the U.S. Census Bureau doesn't misspell poverty.
Poverty, yeah.
Yes, that is true.
No offense. Also, they don't. You know when they put like numbers, 14 would be right over 12, not to one side.
No. So that is 12% of 300 million is still a couple million. The thing, however, is
no, it's not. 12% of 327 million isn't a couple of million.
10%. What's 10% of 300 million?
Oh yeah, you're true. Yeah, no. Sorry, my bad maths there. Sorry, I went to a socialist school.
Okay.
300 million, 30 million.
The relevant number here is the increase in percentage points from 2019 to 2020, which looks like something about 1.5% points. What's 1.5% of 300 million?
More than 12.
More than 12 people, that is correct, yes.
Yes. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm not here for advanced mathematics, okay?
Or basic mathematics, apparently.
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers here. 2020 is 11.4.
That would be 4 to 5
and
million.
2021 is 13.4.
101.
Well, 13.4%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, right, okay.
So it has gone up. Now, that's because of all kinds of other issues related to the pandemic, I'm sure.
Yeah, but wouldn't if you did that in millions, wouldn't you have like 1 million, 2 million, not a percentage? With stuff.
This is
because you say millions.
Yeah, the US Census.
It's not the US Census. This sounds like somebody just make a really bad graph.
Look at this graph.
Anyway, let's keep going.
There is no Superman who's going to save us from exploitation and alienation, from, the value of our labor. But if we can learn to value our own labor and see it not as, small expendable cogs in a giant machine, but as
like how it
necessary
is in
components for the machine to exist in the first place.
Oh, you mean think like a capitalist?
Yeah, that's how capitalism. You're just describing.
Everything bad is capitalism. Everything good is socialism.
Well,
just
that
like in religion,
whole
everything bad is Satan.
What he's talking about,
capitalism does a good thing, it's socialism.
Yeah, but what he's talking
when
about,
socialism does a bad thing, it's capitalism.
The whole point of the video was read your contract, but now he's suddenly showing census stats on poverty rates. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, on poverty rates.
Poverty rates. Sorry. It's like, dude, what are you trying to say, really? Like, what is your argument here? You don't just throw random values from the U.S. Census and say, well, look, people were poor 5 years ago. And you're like, yeah? What does it have to do with contract rights?
Man, people were poorer 5 years ago, and then for 4 years they were doing pretty good, and then now we're bad again. I wonder why that happened.
We have a socialist president who's a cuck for China.
Yes. I wonder why that happened. Weird.
Suddenly people are getting poorer. Oh, then you will come up with the excuse of the pandemic, but you just blame capitalism for it. So what is it? Or is it after effects of the burning of America by socialist insurrectionists in 2019?
No,
which is your fault again.
One of history's great mysteries is the increase of poverty in America. It's just an unanswerable question. What makes Poveri? Who knows?
I mean, you're fine. It doesn't affect you anyway.
Yeah, we don't have Poveri.
We're not talking
over
about
here in the UK.
Poveri. We're not talking about German Poveri.
Yeah.
Well, we're at
talking
the,
about good
Which in
old-fashioned
German is Der
American
Poveri.
we're almost at the 1 minute mark. This is the last 2 minutes I say of all these videos are just horrible. Now we've
Der Poveri.
this is just bad. 30 minutes of bad.
What the fuck is the Poveri?
Imagine when Bloomberg, like, with all that money, can't fucking spell.
Yeah.
I think this is just employees of the company crying for help.
By the way, I love the frame that we're on. Like, he's like looking down at Bears.
He's looking sad.
I just think
Because he knows he's wrong.
Ich bin einen Der Poveri.
My Poveri is up by 2%.
The link that Ginga Man put in the chat. It literally is Poveri rate jumps.
Yes. I found the source. It's real. It is real.
Why can't you spell Poland?
The misspelling is for a real graph.
Oh my god, why?
You mean that they could fix it?
Trusted news sources, ladies and gentlemen. Trusted news sources.
Exactly.
Can't spell poverty. All right. Jesus Christ.
Another Poveri news.
I think they're obsessed with numbers at Bloomberg. That like money. They don't think about English. Like what are
They're
words?
so obsessed with numbers they forgot how to use letters right.
I can't look at it.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I just can't. I just think, spend less time on your social studies and learn to fucking spell. Just.
Anyway, let's finish this off.
CNN, latest news on the Poveri rates. How is it Trump's fault?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna run for governor on the premise that I'm gonna end Poveri.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe.
You
Just
have
maybe.
Poveri in your house.
We can save ourselves and one another.
What?
Let's save ourselves by sealing our fate.
Yes, we can save ourselves from the Poveri. Yeah.
Fuck the Poveri.
No, dude,
Okay,
you understand?
no,
For these people,
Hawk,
the
that is gonna
Poveri
be
is
my
the
campaign.
solution.
That is gonna be my campaign slogan. I'm gonna dress up as Superman every gubernatorial debate, and I'm gonna yell "fuck Poveri."
We did. We did.
Michelin Poveri.
It's like, fuck the Poveri. Also, I want a lawyer, and that's just it. Just that's
You
it.
think I can spend campaign donations on a rigging system so I can pretend to fly after every gubernatorial debate?
I thought you said when you're rigging system. I thought you meant you're just gonna get a ton of votes after 3 a.m.
No, I know I can buy Chinese voting systems. I know where to get those. That's the easy part.
Oh my god, rising poverty rate. Hang on.
Poveri.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
1 minute left. 1 minute left.
I'm not even watching it. It's just
No, the socialist is gonna shill for his Patreon. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, this is just credits.
He's singing a song.
Stop.
Stop.
How
please.
Thanks for watching. Now give me money.
Pay me damages.
Again, guy, this is the 8th time you've done this.
I read comic books.
This is a great beat. Same 2 chords played over and over again. That's great. I love it.
Please pay us damages for being subjected to this.
All right, we're done. Here's Giga Chad. Hey, thanks again, Giga Chad.
He's turning around on his chest so that we see all his things he sewed on his jacket.
He put more.
Like,
crap
look
on
at me, I'm a real nerd. I'm a real fan. I have all these things. Look at me. Look at my room.
Guys, he's
Look
sad
at me. I have
because
these 2 comics.
he stacks no paper. His fit is trash. He's got minstrel lips, and he gets no bitches. That's why
So
he's
he's
a
also into
socialist.
Scientology.
He wants to redistribute the pussy. What?
Yes.
What?
Well, once in power, he will do that, just like the comics bookshop guy from The Simpsons.
It's our pussy now.
We have some memes. Oh no.
Yes,
Finally.
we do.
Why do we have memes? We just do. All right. With today's technology, we can predict what forced adversity will look like in 50 years. There he is. Okay. Superman is like the Beatles of comic books. Unrelated picture of Paul with his Superman comic book collection. While he's playing the organ? What?
Yeah.
Yes.
He has a home organ?
Maybe. I think
Damn.
so, yeah. Wisp, why are you guys posting memes? Like, you're on the panel. You don't have to do this.
It's not entirely a meme. It's information.
Perry Rodan, German sci-fi series, over 3,100 issues by now, started in 1961. First billion worldwide sales in 1986. Wow.
Issues sold, not
Whatever
profits,
those two
but
things are behind the German guy, they look derpy as fuck.
some random aliens.
And this
I
is
had a selection of over 3,000 covers.
that looks like a cross section of a giant spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, these things were full of these things.
Yeah, cool.
Of these super detailed explanation things of this is what the spaceship looks like. This is what is all inside of this spaceship and how it works, and you have explanatory texts about that. That is the extent of German autism science fiction.
Yep. Cool stuff. Ah, boy.
Mhm.
Mateus, when DC AstroTurf another gay bi weirdo character, you get used
Get used to it.
I think that's Goblin Slayer.
Yes.
All right.
That is specifically the episode where Goblin Slayer just took some intestines and rubbed them all over the Elf Ranger.
Oh, it's Yuri.
Fight alive.
I am Yuri, so baby.
Struggle against the powers of capitalism. Only
Oh, the
company
fucking
facing
tweet.
you
Oh, yeah.
can protect
That.
you. Only total compliance will save the lives.
I mean, it's not
of
like
you
the kids
and your
learn anything in
family.
public
Pick
school.
up the fight against
Your
capitalism.
mind and submit to my will.
Well, that's also
Okay, again,
The
the character that is in the front has freeze breath. Worried about the polar ice caps melting,
That man is
and the
not black.
guy.
And the bastard can
fucking
freeze them
fix
again.
it. Yes. Also, his dad was capable of, with his static fucking electricity, repairing a tear in space. So he can easily fix the ozone layer.
And also the Kraken taking a shit all over the ocean.
Yeah. But you know what happens when you when these big ships when they break? It's not good for the ocean.
Oh.
All right. You're not a revolutionary fighting capitalist imperialism. You're a Twitter user. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I have updated Lego Hawk and Bears. I'm also trying new hair for Wisp.
What?
Oh.
Huh?
Well, am I holding a giant musket? What is that?
What is that? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a Super Saiyajin now.
Maybe it's a tiki torch.
A Super Saiyan ghost, yes.
I like
Martian
whatever
about how
hat.
certain people are not going to replace me.
Also, Hawks doesn't have a face.
I'm just
just
British.
that British.
Hawk is Rorschach. You see what you want to see.
Canadian
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra. I don't know why Mateus posted a video.
He
No, it's
made
a
a
clip.
clip.
It's a
He's-
clip.
Yeah, he's clipped us. So hooray!
All
If
right.
you want to listen to Smud sing Frank Sinatra,
Oh, look. Forced adversity, cherry picking comics that align with him.
Yeet.
All right. No DC, don't AstroTurf. LGBTQ, DC.
He's gonna
Yes,
go
I-
garroting Superman with the LGBT.
Okay. Remember, guys, it's no longer truth, justice, in the American way. It's truth, justice, and a better way.
Yeah,
Better tomorrow.
Truth, justice, and faggotry, yes.
Yes.
Trudeau,
Justice and socialism.
Trudeau is
Yeah.
the Senate? What?
There is no truth and there is no justice in socialism.
Trudeau is the Senate.
Was this recent? I have to rewatch that later. So that's my city. I could tell by the 3 cars.
I can tell by the horrific totalitarianism.
Hey, look, that's my house.
Hey, look, that's my house being firebombs.
Like someone lives in a train station.
Stream memes in general. Discord server 1. Discord server 1.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Matthias, have you?
This is a joke I just don't grasp. I'm sorry, Matthias.
It's going over my head.
It's how he. It's about how he cross-posts his memes.
One of them is written in English. The other one is in Brazilian, probably.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
the joke.
Here's a capitalist villain, Brainiac. What?
Yeah, the capitalist villain who wants to take everything that everyone else made for himself.
And
because it
preserve
doesn't remind me of anything else other than capitalism.
Forgot this was a thing. No one, DC, you know what we need? A communist Superman.
Yeah.
I liked it. I actually liked that comic. It was a great comic.
Yeah.
I'm still rooting for Superior Man, though.
It's a great story. I liked it.
The movie was
Superior what?
Yeah, Superior Man.
The
The American Superman.
Oh my God! What is
the only
happening?
problem is he saved England.
Isn't that already Superman?
No, in the comic book. The only problem with Superior Man is that he saved England.
So here's the economic left. Sorry, comrade. It's truth, justice, and the Soviet way now. Here's the economic right. Batman, you have been found guilty of witchcraft. I sentence you to be burned at the stake. What? Here is the lower. I don't know what lower economic left is.
It's the top is authoritarian, lower is liberal.
Oh.
Yes.
Superman's new power. Great Scott, I know Superman can fly and has super strength, but his new power is fantastic.
I can Silver Age shit.
I'll have to photograph the effects of Superman's new power or they'll never believe me. And he's shooting shooting rainbows at people?
He's shooting the gay at people, yes.
And here we have the rights. Please, Superman, my oil well is on fire and you're the only one who can save it. Sure, for 5,000 cash in advance.
Damn.
Which is based, obviously.
Oh, boy.
That should be no problem.
All right. The Comics First Adversity wants to come back.
Action Comics number 58. Superman says you can slap a Jeff with war bonds and stamps.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, given how these leftoids treat manga, that's not entirely inaccurate.
No, it's not.
They've shown repeatedly that they hate Asians. They don't give a shit about...
You mean the white people?
They don't actually give a shit about hate crimes against Asians.
You mean the white Japanese?
It's black people who do it, and they blame the white people for it.
Well, no, they call them white people, so...
Yes.
Anyway,
that as well.
Communists, when they get assigned to Alaskan coal mines instead of teaching lesbian dance theory from a free luxury condo. Oh.
Yeah.
Superman's first supervillain, Ultra Humanite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Nice design.
Got to turn himself into a monkey.
Ooh, yeah. Great Scott. Real socialism has never actually been tried. None of the revolutions that have called themselves socialist have followed my very strict interpretation of Marx. Only I can decide what is real socialism. Learning from mistakes of the past and applying them to modern revolution strategy is far too complicated. This attitude helps me win academic debates. Got from somewhere I don't own, just lesson Keck de Metallo.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is Great Scott, just learn to crop. You don't have to add that. Just crop that off. That's like the watermark they put on the end. Just do it.
Here we have the classic meme, American comics and manga.
Yeah.
Here is the Daily Wire. Superman, now bisexual, don't need another straight white savior, writer says. Achievement unlocked when full return.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Babylon B. Instead of kryptonite, new LGBTQ Superman will be crippled by anyone using wrong pronouns.
Yes.
Most likely.
Mr. Custodian.
It's the clip I was talking about.
How long is it?
It shouldn't be too long.
Yeah,
this is time. Ginga's time.
4 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay.
It's 30 seconds.
Oh.
On the timestamp.
We sent the lantern for you.
Yeah, but we've got to be careful with stuff like this.
I don't belong up here fighting monsters.
Well,
yeah, we're gonna get taken down for sure.
Yeah.
Joe Crazy, I'll watch it later. And my ability to distort my facial characteristics will make it easier for me to see what's going on as a Jap.
God.
Yeah, but except for the fact that like Superman's 6'3", so he's not going to blend in all that.
No, he's not going to. No.
Yeah, and has a giant body and buck teeth. Why is it always buck teeth?
This is fantastic. There's no food on the table. To all the seething falshoids?
Fascioids, yeah.
Fascioids in my mentions. Communism is inevitable. Wow.
Yeah, there's lots of theory and no food.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, fascism is like their fucking cousin.
Mm-hmm.
There is no socialism without fascism.
Wonder Woman.
Hey.
Wow.
Yep, this is exactly what I was talking about.
What is?
She seems to be okay with this situation.
Like I said.
By Charles Moulton. Who's this genius Charles Moulton? What does he do?
I think that was the guy that invented Wonder Woman.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Did he die in Pover? Did Charles Moulton die in Pover?
The S&M creepy doll version of the origin of Wonder Woman. There we go. See, I want to watch a video about that.
Yeah, boy. I also want to watch some S&M videos about Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Povery. Classic.
Bloody hell.
Thank you, Mark. Very cool.
All right, that was
Very
pretty
Povery.
funny. Okay, guys, that was... Oh, jeez.
That was the thing.
That was sad.
Uh-huh. There was surprisingly little to say for 13 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot longer.
Just like a real socialist.
Yeah, I thought the first 10 minutes, we just went right through it really quickly. But,
yeah.
Holy hell. What to say about this guy? I don't know.
At all costs.
I hope he ain't heroes.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to cover another of his videos just because they're pointless. There's nothing to them. I'm curious what the EFAP one is all about, but I really don't care. If he's calling Rags a furry, like, I don't care. That's stupid.
Rags is a furry, though.
Yeah.
Rags is a furry.
Yeah, but who cares?
Well, no one cares. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's another point. Yes, it's irrelevant, but
okay.
That's not the true thing. The other stuff is just the relevant part.
Anyway,
nobody cares.
Yeah, no one really cares. Let's call it a night. Thanks, guys. Tomorrow's weekday, so keep the suggestions coming for your anime, manga suggestions of videos or anything really. Let's see what I got for blogs or whatever we can cover. It'll be fun to cover for Anime World. So,
yeah.
Thank you so much. Have yourself a great evening. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.